us right now. All right, double checking. Hello and welcome. If you guys can hear us, tell us please. It's me, uh, Sonalar, and Nicholas on another episode of Crimes Against Roleplay.
Got blood on our, well, not on our hands, but we got blood to, to analyze broken glass, all that good jazz.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, I do apologize for the delay, guys. We wanted to start like 20 minutes ago, and every time we looked for a solution, we figured out, oh wait, it's more complicated than that.
Yeah, we end up with more problems than we had originally.
Yeah, it's
but we're good now, and yes.
Yeah, exactly. We're good now, which is all that matters. We don't have to lambast you guys with all of our problems. We can do that like after the stream, maybe, if people want to hang out, just chat. The people who hang out for us and not for the show can that can be like at the end.
3 people.
Let's check out some comments real quick before we start. Welcome, Adam. Welcome, Yuria. I see Elf Hunter here. Captain Conway. Nice. We have a nice little group collecting together.
Yeah, good to have you guys with us, man. We do have some treats for today.
Absolutely.
You gonna go into it?
Yes, we do. Okay. Conway saying like there was silence, but now he can hear us, so audio quality is great. They keep talking about like increasing the watch speed of the videos, like we should speed up the videos.
2 times. Yeah, we can do that.
I don't
Because we talk a lot.
That is true. That is true. It's both like talking a lot, and if we keep the video shorter, people have a better chance to finish watching them, watching the critique. But also, if we speed it up, people cannot speed up at home if they watch the live stream later. So it's a back and forth.
No.
You have to pick a poison, so to say.
Fair enough.
Adam is convinced we have a better chance of getting through it. Look, one is 5 hours, the other was like 4 hours. We are not getting through
I'm gonna watch all of it. just portions, right? I don't think it's healthy to go for the whole thing, because like we still want people to go to the original source to watch it. We're just gonna comment on it. We're not gonna showcase it. You know what I mean? It's not a watch together.
People should, if people actually like watching role-playing games, they can watch them at home. I was thinking of maybe doing a stream where basically what I do is one of what streamers do, right? You watch the whole fucking video while you say like a comment every 2 minutes, and otherwise you just shut up and watch it. Because
Yeah,
some people do that. They make it like a communal experience, but with the favorite streamer instead of like watching television with the family at home. Now people do it with streamers and Twitch chat and stuff like that.
exactly. And yes, I think it's Uriah, not Uriah. But yes, Uriah. Got my yerba mate with me. Cannot do without it. You are a very cultured gentleman for recognizing it.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Eddie setup. We got two people that we've picked. There was a third one in consideration, but gotta make sure that I don't even know. Like, if he even reached like a third one, we would be completely out of energy at that point. So, just gonna do a double. What's it called? Like a double issue, right?
A double creature feature.
Yes, it's perfect. The double feature.
Right.
Da, da,
Can I set it
da.
up then? I guess we can jump right into it. We talk enough.
Yeah. Now, guys, you can look at this beautiful transition I've set up. I click this button, and then I click the second button, and everything should work now. How does this look, boys?
Oh no. I'll get out there. It's working. It's working. Yeah, yeah, there you go.
It's a two button process, so there will be a delay. You have to pull up the correct video.
Who's this guy? Ooh, brother. Ooh, who are these guys, man?
Look, man, we're just some black and white people telling others how they are supposed to roleplay. And if they don't, we write up a receipt and throw them into roleplay jail. You know, the bad thing is the government didn't really give us any real power. We're just here to placate people, let them know.
Vigilantes.
We're vigilantes. We're private eyes. There's no real support, but you know, justice has to be served somehow through YouTube videos.
That's
So
it.
if you agree,
But it has to
def
be us.
yeah, you have to share, right? You have to share the passion. Let them know. This is how you treat John Roleplay. It's not just some pushover that you get to stab 47 times in, 2 hours of gameplay.
Okay,
Alright.
so I guess we should say this is a blind watch, though this video is from, let's say, one of ours, right?
That is correct. We have, the friendly relations. We live in the same neighborhood. They show up for Thanksgiving dinner. Like, yeah, we know them.
We've noticed you.
I recognize Adam, Elf Hunter, Phil the Frill. Do you know the name of the guy at the bottom right? Is that Yuria or is
I,
it someone
I
else?
I'm not really sure. To be honest, I don't know the faces of everyone in the Crusade. I know some of them.
Yeah.
So I know this
Yeah,
is
I'm same,
Adam that
same.
you feel.
Okay, Adam is
That's
confirming.
Uriah. There you go.
Is that how you say it? Uriah?
It's how I'm gonna say until he corrects me.
Sounds good, sounds good. Adam is the top middle, so he is the one who requested critique. Phil the Frail is well established in the community as a great 40 role player. He was there like at the very start with the first formation of the RPG Crusade, so to say. Elf Hunter and Adam and Uriah all joined at a similar time. This sometime this year. It's like the current new wave of 40 role players that are looking to improve how to roleplay, learn the lessons that we teach of
Our
co-creation.
mantra, our ways.
Yes, the the cult
Our
elitist way.
exactly. Our glorious path to roleplay. So, like I said, it's a blind watch. Um, whatever come, okay, do not take it personally, and feel free to bite back.
We will write receipts though. This it's gonna go into the book. Now, audience, let us know if the video is hearable, like audibly for you guys, as well as for us. And we will jump in.
That way I know where to cut. All right, ready?
Okay.
All right.
Ready.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm here with Uriah, Elf Hunter, and Phil the Thrill. And tonight we're gonna take the ultimate no prep challenge.
Yeah.
How was that?
Woo!
Excellent.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the list, updated from
One
last
comment.
week.
You can leave the video playing. Should we watch the premise, or should just go into the roleplay part?
We can go
Because it's an unprepped challenge. Just for whoever might not know, it's all on the spot. Like who's gonna run the game, what is the setting, what is the tone. Yeah, even Adam agrees. So with that established, I think we can skip a little bit ahead. If Adam, you do know exactly when you guys start, you can give us the timestamp. Otherwise, I think we'll just go clicking ahead.
Sounds good. We can go like 45 minutes. Now, it's a system to help role play more often, practice it, but also like do quick one-shots. It's a great way to get to know people, test them out, how good are they on their feet, how good do they role play. And it's also a way to test out your characters, right? Because you roll out a setting, you don't even know if you will be in your comfort zone or if it's completely alien to you. Like, oh, I might be able to roleplay in a zombie setting because, oh, I'm playing myself, but now there's zombies everywhere. What would I do? But then try to play in a future fantasy. I don't know. I have to change my whole frame of mind for that. I need more information to put myself into that headspace. We got a timestamp.
24:07.
Let's roll.
It is evening on. It is evening on the New Dawn. A space colony in the Andromeda Nebula, several light years removed from Earth, which is now a distant memory. In a gymnasium transformed into a pool hall, we find a group of young lads playing water polo. As a whistle blows loud, the voice of the coach rings out. All right, fellas, that's enough for one night. You've played well, and hit the showers.
I exit. I take some steps out of the pool, pull myself up. Oh, that's so gay.
With both hands up.
The people demand higher speed.
I was about to use that same expression. Now we can go to 1.25.
All right.
Like these pauses, I think they're natural, especially if it's a first-time group, because you have internet connection. There are a lot of factors that make hesitate a little bit before speaking in these online games. And I say that because we had a lot of that in the last Bleach Drags games that we played. I think we
Yes.
did get better in the last session, the 6th or 7th, the latest one. But I
Yeah,
will not
yeah.
judge. I would not put that against on you. At least not on like the first thing you do. You know, I think that's not a big problem.
Absolutely. It's not an issue. Usually, right, game masters and players are worried that the game is too slow. But what ends up happening is you fill the dead air with, some jokes or asking players what they want to do and stuff like that, instead of just letting them say what they are going to do, what they are doing. So we allow some dead air to let the player think and answer instead of there's a word for this, of like trying to cram a reaction like immediately. We can take some time, and
Sure,
it's
what?
actually, yeah, we can take some time, and it's going to speed up the role play. So
Yeah, you can. Did you change the speed? We can continue playing the video.
On the edge of the pool, I sort of launch myself out and take off the tight cap and shake my hair open. Say, not bad tonight, John.
I walk towards or I'm on the wall of the pool, using the wall to get over towards the steps that are easy to climb out. Breathing a little heavy to myself. And don't say anything as I get out of the pool. Sit down on the side of the wall and just try to catch my breath as I'm looking at the other two.
Make my way to the lockers and start to open my own locker and put my equipment inside.
I walk to the bench where my towel is and take my glasses and put them on my forehead. Look over to find Mr. Dyson's towel and pick it up for him and start to walk over to his direction.
let's talk about a few
Some anchoring going on.
principles. Go ahead.
Let's say we got some anchoring going on. I like that. I think it's Elf Hunters. I know just for me, his audio is a bit low, so I was having a hard time understanding him. But that's
Yes.
not about roleplay. It just was a bit hard to follow because it was not on the same audio level. But I like how everyone is establishing where they are. I like the way Adam did it in the first time. You know, like removing the helmet and shaking, and that painted a really nice picture. I don't know what his character looks like, but I saw a scene, you know, with the little action, even if that did not move anything forward.
I had to look up water polo because I did not know what sport it is. In polo, you
You
are
know?
on a horse, like swinging a stick, right? But in water polo, you're more like throwing balls, back and forth. It's like it looks more like handball, but they call it water polo, which was really
Yeah.
confusing to me.
Okay.
It's like,
Well,
how are horses involved in a swimming pool? It's water polo. What?
it's seahorses. What do
Yeah.
you call that? Horsefish?
No, seahorses, right?
Yeah. I've watched
So
the Aquaman movie, man.
some people might not know what anchoring means. It's when you describe your character in relation to the room, to the place you are at right now, like in the scene. Adam described it very clearly. He's at the edge of the pool, getting out of the water, pulling up his glasses. So I can place him. Meanwhile, Elf Hunter described his character already approaching the lockers, right? Now I'm a bit confused, like, where are the lockers? Is he still? Technically, he's still at the place with the pool, where the pool is, so the lockers are nearby the pool. But in my head, I think, are not lockers in a separate room? So that's, I would make that assumption that he's not in the same room anymore. Now, it's not going to be a problem until they try to talk with each other from the pool and the locker, and they can somehow hear each other. Then it's going to change my assumptions, basically. So good anchoring and re-establishing those. Like, the more people talk and have turns, the more it's gonna clarify what we can imagine in the scene. And we don't need the game master. We don't need to ask the game master how many, like, where are the lockers but in this pool house situation.
Pool house, yeah.
Sitting on the side of the pool, I look up at Nick and I say, yeah, I don't know, you guys sure are something else. And it's slow to get up to my feet. Left knee's bothering me. Take the towel.
I wanna look at the comment on YouTube. We have somebody saying here, LSG Dean, defending. Lots of pools have lockers poolside. Now, that is an assumption you can make. And you might even be right. But where I grew up, you don't have lockers by the pool. It's in a separate room.
I was about to say, though, I think this is an all-American game. So they have a lot of things that can be, that. So, yeah, take that into account. Like, Zolar is from Europe, I'm from Brazil. So there might be some cultural gaps here on what we would assume is normal.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's not normal, but what would be fair enough, So I think that's fine.
Yeah, it's like when somebody uses the term kitty corner to describe something being at the opposite side of the first thing. It's a saying people use, but I don't use it. I've never heard it before until it happened in a role-playing game. And now I had to imagine, it's like, oh yeah, and this bag is on the kitty corner of the room. It's like, what? Okay. So if you know your players, you can it's easily avoidable. And here it's absolutely not a problem in this game. But it could be. Okay, the setting is a utopia, dystopia, and the tone is dark. Okay, we can go on. That's all I wanted to say. And there's so many comments happening, but I guess we just move on with the video until they...
Yeah, we'll pick some. We'll pause and go through them every now and then.
I finally take off my goggles and mask and everything and hit the showers. Kind of rolling my neck and winding my muscles.
Patting my face down with my own towel and my tattooed arms and chest with a big lion tattoo on it. Say to Mr. Dyson, you still got some moose left in you? Knee acting up again?
I start to just put the towel around my neck and say, yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me work out with you. I don't think I'm going to be any help in these games you guys decided you're going to start playing.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I might skip them either way. You guys got plenty. Still, it's nice to get a workout in. Dab my face, start walking towards the bathroom. Locker.
Walking into the locker room, the coach wearing an all-white tee, white short shorts, a white whistle, walks up to Mr. Dyson, says, reaches out a hand to shake yours. How you doing, Marcus?
Oh, I'm doing good, coach. Flip the towel over my shoulder. Extend my hand, shake his hand.
Gotta pause real quick here. I really enjoy Uriah taking the reins as, okay, every player they had 2 free turns, and now he talks. He allowed the players to like reach a natural conclusion without like it wasn't forced every turn and then the game master talks, or just being too timid. The pacing was really great, and he used the opportunity to re-establish the lockers are in a locker room. I like that detail. That stood out to me. So it's clarifying the painting in my mind of what's happening.
Mm-hmm. That's a good observation. But I agree. He probably throwing like a push, I imagine.
Yeah. Having the coach be there is also a great NPC. It's natural in the environment. You gotta let's see what happens.
A firm grip, and he says, I really appreciate you coming around and helping, teach these boys what this game is about. A lot of these young whippersnappers tend to get it in their heads that they know everything. So I really appreciate you. He slaps you on the shoulder.
Say, you're flattering me, but really, I pat Nick on the shoulder next to me, Nick on the back. This guy probably's forgotten more than I never knew about water polo. That's why he's the captain, right? Right, Nick?
That's right.
That's right. He's probably one of the brighter shining stars among this group.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys in there. I walk past him towards the showers.
Coach trails along and says, "I wanted to talk to you about something real quick. It's about Jack. He's been very forgetful lately. He's kind of got me worried. Is he doing okay in school and everything? In his university classes?"
I walk by in a towel, coming out of the locker. Same moment. Don't pay anybody any mind, and I sit on a bench.
What did you notice happening just now, Nicholas? I wonder if you caught the same thing or if it's a me thing.
You're talking about how he robbed, which is a good thing. I like that he interjected himself. I'm just not sure if the guy the coach was talking was his character. Because I did not get Hunter's character's name. But I think it's good that he's still like anchoring himself.
Yeah, exactly. That is what I picked up on as well. Sometimes as role players, if we play a role-playing game, we can fall into a trap of role-playing out the entire scene with one NPC and one player, back and forth like 20 turns, and the other 2 players don't get a word in edgewise of what they are doing. And this is a very common like pit trap to fall into. Mm-hmm. So Elf Hunter is incredibly conscious of that and anchored his character doing something like he's in the scene. Basically, it's what you would see if a background actor walking across doing stuff while the focus of the camera is on Uriah and Phil right now, on their characters talking back and forth.
Good practice. 10 out of 10.
I say,
I politely sort of make my way out of this conversation and hit the showers.
I like that.
Look over at the coach and I say, Jack, huh? Yeah, Jack. I haven't noticed anything wrong with him. What's he been doing? I mean, what are you talking about?
And he speaks in a hushed voice. I figured as much. The higher-ups have me needing to mark down folks who are here for these practices, and I'm supposed to have them all scan their ID card thingies. And Jack, for the past couple of sessions, just hasn't had his for some reason. I don't want to raise any suspicion. You know, I know sometimes these younger guys are a bit forgetful at times, so I just wanted to, speak to the head honcho.
You know, back in my day, you didn't need to have an ID card to get in the pool. I guess it was a simpler time.
Indeed it was. Well, if you would just talk to him, I'd appreciate it. And he again slaps you on the shoulder and begins to walk away.
Look at his hand. And look back. Yeah. Put the towel over my shoulder and walk towards the showers again. Glance over it. Jack.
I'm still sitting on the bench, just flicking through things on a phone-like device. Set it down and get up and walk back towards the lockers.
I'm enjoying the shower, but I end it quick and walk with nothing on to the mirror in the locker room and sort of just admire myself for a little bit.
I want to bring up.
I like that there's a little tension. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Let's do your point first. I can do it after.
I like how they're quickly making something happen. Like there's a little intrigue, or at least something. I'll use the word curious. There's something curious happening. Like, oh,
yes.
like is Jack doing something illicit or not? So that's already interesting. It's something to roleplay, so it doesn't become patty cake. Which I think is pretty good, considering it's no prep challenge. I guess they're just coming up with that on the spot. I'm not sure how much they talked about their characters before the game started, because we skipped that. But either way, I like how things are already happening, and it's what 10 minutes,
Absolutely.
less.
This
7.
is the first 5 minutes. It's incredibly. Wait, hold on. You're right. No, it's actually 9 minutes now. It's still incredibly impressive. Hey, you have a chat, and there's some intrigue going on. Like it's opening a loop. This guy has been reported to be forgetful. Somebody's worried. Can you check in?
And it's cool because they're not talking out of character.
Yes.
I know that Jack is thinking about something. I know that Phil character is but I don't know what exactly. And I hope they manage to continue role-playing and anchoring their characters' actions. Maybe imply like a little bit of nervosism, like fondling your hands. I hope they'll get into that, so it becomes almost like a movie where you can just see the character and infer what's going on in their mind. But I like how this started.
A little detail that people might skip in the role-playing games that is happening here is describing your character's reaction. Phil, he lingers a bit on the hand on his shoulder, which gave me the impression of, this puts him off a bit. Like it's a bit too personal for a coach. It's like, I'm not like that. I'm not on a friendly basis like that with you. But he's not using any words. It could also mean something completely else. I mean, I guess somebody could read it like, oh my god, he touched me. Oh, beautiful. But that's not the impression I'm getting.
I know what you mean.
But it leaves a great impression, a detail of roleplay of like what you're doing without having to like force a voice or like what people accuse some players to be actors, to be like, oh, you're being drama actors. It's a little detail that adds a lot of color to the scene.
Exactly. Once again, 10 out of 10. Good job.
So far, John Roleplay is alive and well.
I look up, Nick, why do you always do that? And I open my locker and start getting dressed.
This is all I got. You got your fancy job in life, and this is what I got.
Standing at the shower, I turn the knobs, get the water.
Phil, beautiful. Reinforcing the turn order. No, you had your fill, Elf Hunter. Now I get to do my turn.
I wouldn't mind a little back and forth there because he prompted Jax, you know. But
Yes. Like,
he wants to show up too, so.
Exactly. 3 or 4 turns back to forth, okay. But gotta be conscious. And it depends on the group. I know 28mm RPG, Rick, he does want to reinforce, no, only take 1 turn, and we go around the table, so everybody gets the same amount of time to roleplay. Which is a bit more strict, but it does really help to avoid any confusion if it's your turn or not. Like, are you allowed to reply or not? No, you just wait until it's coming back for you, and it will come back. It's gonna be real quick.
Water going, my towel's hanging over the side, just letting the water like wash over me to get some sort of soothing feeling from the heat on my old bones.
I finished getting dressed. Quickly come on. Push my hand through my hair, turn to Nick. Oh, that's fair enough, Nick. You still getting good shift work, good hours?
Yeah.
Suddenly,
They're signaling back and forth. This is the we are in the Discord
online
call,
games.
not at the table, right?
Yeah.
Problem.
Exactly. That's would be very douchebaggy to criticize that. That's not on roleplay. That's not on roleplay.
Yes.
We do that all the time.
And I like it. I like the nods and the hand signals, the back and forth, and you know, and you have to decide. So the game master, he's insisting, no, continue, which is great. It's if you're the game master, and like making such a clear decision, instead of like trying to please everybody, like wavering, like, oh, should I, shouldn't I? You end up like taking a whole minute or something on formalities that are not necessary, because you'll trust each other, right? Like you're not trying to impress the player. You're trying to roleplay.
Exactly.
Early hours, you know how it is. In fact, I probably should work my way back home, get some rest, and I start making my way to my locker.
suddenly the lights flicker and flash back on. A voice over the intercom says, "We are experiencing minor solar flare activity. Please excuse any technical difficulties. Thank you, and enjoy your new dawn." You're done.
I like
I
that.
say hi.
That's just so much fun. I love making noises and having those like interjections. It's beautiful.
It was good. I'm good that he's adding more to the scene. Even if that doesn't like become anything major, I still like that. It's still painting the universe they're in.
Oh yeah. Like now I can imagine this actually being in space instead of just like on Earth.
Exactly. I was about to say, like, so far, is it sci-fi? Is it not? Maybe not even. It may not even be like high sci-fi, but just name dropping solar flare, and that's a problem on whatever, wherever they are. That paints kind of a setting already. I like that.
Absolutely.
Oh shit! Those announcements always freak out Beans. I better rush home, and I'm quickly pulling on my pants.
Also, by the way, Adam, commenting, oops, I end up taking 2 turns in a row. Well, that's 10,000 years dungeon. Is the usual punishment?
Yeah. Death by 1,000 needles.
Yeah, we might be able to halve the sentence. Let's us talk to the judge.
The rest of my clothes.
Turn off the shower and walk towards my locker after the announcement is over.
Kind of smooth out my clothes. All right, Nick, see you around. And I close my locker and head out.
Finish dressing. Put my leather slides on. Say, great practice, guys. See you next time. And head out of the locker.
Get to my locker and I say, "Yep, take care there, Nick." Jack, let me talk to you for a second before you head out.
Huh? Oh yeah, sure.
Now we know Nick, Jack, and Phil's character was. They used his name, but I forgot already.
It is Danny DeVito. I'll call
Danny
him because he kind of looks Jewish Danny DeVito. The portrait made me think of that. I was just I like how Adam's character Nick, like, ooh, it freaks me out. I like how he reacted, Mr. Dyson. I like how he reacted to the announcement, and then Phil went in and he did not react to it. And I thought, oh, because he's an old guy, like it's just like wind howling for him. That means nothing. But I was expecting enough Hunter's character to say something about that, but he didn't.
Yeah, it's if you get a weather message, oh, thunderstorm is rolling through your region tonight. It's like, oh my god, a thunderstorm. We might see some trees getting ripped off the ground. Like, oh, this is dangerous. But if you live in the region, it's like, whatever. I just hope I still get the signal to watch the football show tonight.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's nice to react, even if it's to react in a way that the character doesn't care. I think it's nice just to, yeah, that happened, I think
exactly.
That's adding to what was added before. Even if you just say my character ignores, I think that still confirms, oh yeah, it actually happened, what just happened.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like, we can have a more extreme example of that if somebody gets stabbed and blood is drawn, a new kid or teenager, if you're young and impressionable, it might shock you. You might freeze up. If you're older or you have combat experience, you see this and all you think is, I'm glad I'm not near that guy, because this is not a worry as long as I keep my distance. The game master doesn't have to enforce roll for fear. Roll your fear saving throw or something like that. They can roleplay it out.
Okay. Adam said, establish that setup. I have a dog named Beans, and I said Beans always freaks out at those announcements. I thought you said I or something like that. Either way, you reacted to it, and I like it that you reinforced what just happened.
Yeah, that's good.
I wish Phil and Thunder would have acknowledged that anyway. It's okay.
The hilarious part, like over the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, I've had a character with which is a kobold with a pet rat called Beans. And the pet rat called Beans would always yell, "Beans, Beans!" And I played in a few games, and he kills spiked demons and stuff like that. Some gargoyles and other critters, and he always got the last hit and got the kill. So having him say "Oh yeah, my dog's called Beans," yeah, getting flashbacks over here.
I see. It was like being hit with a scent from your childhood. Oh,
Yeah.
Mm.
I walk back towards Mr. Dyson.
Got a little towel wrapped around my waist now, like wrinkly and hairy. I look over and I say, sounds like you're not showing your ID when you come to the pool, huh? Say it in a low tone.
Oh, I kind of rub my temple. Yeah, well, the less amount of times I have to use it, I figure the less chance that they, you know, trace it. But I don't know. Maybe I should use it.
Use it like it's yours. If you need a new one, I know I can help you.
Thanks,
Just
Mr.
use
Dyson.
it. Use it like it's normal. You're drawing attention to yourself. I shove my towel, hang my towel on the, or shove my towel into like a dirty towel hamper. Start
What do
putting
you
clothes
mean?
on.
Drawing attention to myself? What happened?
Well, the company is asking the coach why you're not scanning in every time.
Okay. I kind of consider this for a moment. Okay. I was nervous about using it, but I promise I'll use it. Yeah. They won't notice a thing.
They're noticing that you're nervous. That's the problem. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
We gotta put Phil on the wall here.
What do you mean?
We have to press Phil on the wall because he was eager to jump in when he thought he was not getting time, and now he's hogging time away from Adam. This is injustice for my boy. I don't want to say though, that apart, I like how the plot thickens.
Yes. It's a great twist. Now, this is probably still like as part of the premise of what they established beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But definitely Elf Hunter, I think it was Jack. He's not who he says it is. You have a double agent
Exactly.
in our midst playing water polo. Why?
The most dangerous of all sports.
Yeah. Just pretend you are normal. What does that mean?
Exactly. Blinks one eye at a time. I also like how Elf Hunter mentions his character rubbing his temple. Like, these somatic tics, I think, is very important when you're role playing your character.
Yes, a little mannerisms that helps you separate how your character talks compared to any other character you roleplay. And even and you don't have, it helps a lot, but then people will call you an actor, Nicholas. Have you thought about that?
Well, people will call you whatever they want, right? At the end of the day, you don't have control over that, man.
Yes, true.
I don't. Okay, life is too short. Role play is too short. We can only play like usually what, once a week. If you're worrying about that, like, okay. If you're worried what people are gonna talk about you in like your social circle, that's understandable. You know, like you got family, you have
Yes.
to work, you need to be somewhat presentable to society. But like on a hobby, like come on, man, like that's the one place where you can like relax a bit.
Yeah, I'm not trash talking
So yeah,
people.
do role play.
Yeah, I'm not trash talking people going into a pub, smashing 12 beers, and then watching football in a stadium. If that's your definition of fun, have at it. To me, it sounds like, this is how I'm gonna lose my kneecaps. This is how I get trampled in like some road rage situation. Some
Yeah,
hooliganism is gonna catch me.
Yeah, but this is good. It's good role play. I'm enjoying this. Let's watch a little bit more,
sitting down against it.
and then I think we
Yeah,
should
I know
skip
you're right.
like 1 hour ahead after.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Right.
Walking at a bit of a trot to get back to my room, I take one of the corridors that I know has some good vending machines. You can feel my belly pick up something.
In the vending machine, the latest and greatest in homogenized food bar products. White packaging, nondescript flavor.
Kind of running my finger along the window, tracing the options, shaking my head, slide my all-purpose ID credit card into the machine and see what I can afford.
Flashing lights, bing, 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 on the options that you can afford. They're all the same, just differing sizes.
Put my clothes on at the locker. I look over at Jack and say, why don't you come on over for dinner tonight?
I stand back up. Be nice. Hadn't had much of a real dinner in a while.
Anita's making spaghetti.
I feel a slight turbulence. Might have been this solar flare. I don't see why not.
Yes, great little detail for those who caught it.
Bring it back. Exactly.
There's a solar
it's still
flare
happening.
event. It's happening. The game master introduced it. You don't have to wait for him to like play out the solar flare.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking the element and having it influence the scene, make it more.
And this is a sign. This is a sign that he's, at least now, he's in the character because it is as if he was there, because he can remember like, oh yeah, that's still happening, you know. So he's trying to fill in all 5 senses of his character, so he's manifesting. And because he done that, I'm gonna be honest, I had forgotten about solar flare as a viewer. He mentioned that, I was like, oh yeah, the solar flare is happening. And I'm sure that if maybe Adam or even Phil forget, or if they had forgotten, now they remember, so they can bring back that too. The thing with the role play is that because everybody is anchoring, is role playing what is happening around them, it helps everybody remember what's going on. And that's how you can have combat without minis, because everybody is reinforcing the resolution of the scene, so everybody is helping everybody remember. So it becomes a light job for everyone involved in a scene where you have a lot of things happening. You know what I mean? It makes the job for Uriah easier, and for everybody else to remember, yeah, there's like 5 guys. One is over the balcony. One of the balconies got kicked, and now there's like this ripped like wooden stake, you know. So now maybe someone can use that as a weapon, and I love that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, Adam has a question. Do we answer it, or do we like finish the show?
I will read the question first. Question: are my turns patty cake? I loved playing it, so please say no. I don't get that so far. But what? We are 20 minutes in? But it doesn't feel like that.
Some people, what is patty cake? If you want to sum it up real quick, like we use terminology. If people outside of the Discord, they might be a bit confused if they don't watch the other videos.
I would call patty cake meaningless chatter. But then I don't know if I have a really good definition, because like what Adam is doing, or rather what he's making Nick do, I wouldn't call patty cake. He's being his character, and what is happening? I'm getting a better vision of the world. By the way, okay, so he needs to use the ID for everything. It's kind of the
Yes.
dual identification credit card. And then Uriah mentions in the food packages, like the pressing the white package, like the nutrients, white package, black lettering, nutrients. So I'm getting a vision of the world. So I don't think it's meaningless. It's not just talking heads doing nothing. So far, I would not say it's patty cake. I don't know about you.
Yeah, the problem with patty cake is people think talking in character back and forth is roleplay. And what separates like the roleplay from the patty cake is there's some meaning behind it, or you find some meaning behind it. Does it like paint more of the scene? Like, do we get a better imagination of the place we are at every time it's your turn? Or does it reinforce what kind of character you're playing, or add a new dimension, add another detail to the character? Or does it like progress the plots? Like, does a plot thicken? Are we
Don't use that word. But
yeah, something in that direction. If it's literally a tavern scene of you go there, you ask how they're doing, they say they're doing great. What would you like to eat? I'm not sure. Show me the menu. And then he reads out a menu list of 28 items. And then you pick one of them. And then you pay 8 silver and 2 copper. And then you pay the money. And you have to stop and think to yourself, wait, hold on. Did something cool happen while we did that? Was this interesting? Or can you have the exact same scene, but instead, like, I peruse the menu, say, ooh, fish. I feel like fish today. So you add a bit of characterization of like, okay, he likes fish. Makes it a bit more dynamic. Same scene, but one of them is not patty cake.
Agreed.
Looks like the bottom row for me. At least I can get a medium. And I punch in the code for the medium-sized.
Smack.
Oh god, I skipped. Oh, what did I do? Whoops, I misclicked.
How did you even do that?
I was trying to pause, but I hit the mouse button.
It was about 33, I think.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, why can he only afford medium-sized food? Like, oh wait, hold on. Is he that poor? What's going on here?
I mean, we would have known, but you skipped ahead.
Admire myself for a little bit.
We had like a plot-defining moment, and you
I look
skipped
up.
it.
Nick, why do you always do that?
Okay, we could go ahead.
Finish dressing. Put my leather slides on. Say, great practice, guys. See you next time.
Oh, we saw that.
They're noticing that you're nervous. That's the problem. You understand?
Turbulence.
Okay.
Notice pops up of missing persons.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Looks like the bottom row for me.
Almost.
Okay.
There we
It's
go.
there. It's there.
I stand back up. Be nice. Hadn't had much of a real dinner in a while.
Anita's making spaghetti.
I feel it.
Yeah, it's here. I guess I went back a bit too far. This is fine.
Yeah, you should have heard me, man.
I don't see
Man,
that.
I'm sorry.
No.
I should listen to my partner more often.
Looks like the bottom row for me. At least I can get a medium. And I punch in the code for the medium-sized, nondescript white cup of food stuff. And grab it after it tumbles down into the tray below. I take my ID
Beside
card
the vending machine, a digital bulletin board scrolls with different information, and a new notice pops up of missing persons report. A picture of a scraggly-headed youth wide toothy smile. Missing since last week.
Yeah, I'd have to say Uriah is doing a great job here.
Yes. Absolutely.
Uriah is golting right now. Like, it is just like a what's the word? A mundane thing character is doing, which I'm fine with because he's still playing his character. We can see who the character is, and then Uriah as the GM, narrator, storyteller, whatever we want to call it, is bringing something up of higher intrigue. Now, Adam can just ignore it if he wants to. Maybe his character doesn't care. But even then, like, the world is happening alongside the players. The world is living. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's it's really beautiful because as a game master, it's a great way to push. You add a push into the world. This is happening, and the players can choose to notice and pick up on it, or they can ignore it. In a lot of tables, the players see this and they think, "Oh, this is a code. Like this is a hook. I have to bite onto it. Yeah, I have to bite the hook. Otherwise, the game master is gonna be sad that that we are not using what he prepped for. He's gonna be disappointed if I, have to play along."
Let's see what he does.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh, it's not playing. Hold on.
Combing like my wispy, thinning hair, giving myself a nice side part. Buttoning the last few buttons of my button-up shirt. Smelling good.
I look toward the disgusting. Do you ever come by your place later, or if you don't mind, I can just go there straight away. I have nothing to do till then.
I say, do whatever you want, Jack. You're a free man, aren't you?
All right.
Turn, I look at him through the mirror.
I pause at the screen and sort of struck by the memory of a missing kid in my childhood, and sort of shake my head. I have sort of a silent moment to myself.
Walk over, grab my duffel, and start to walk out of the locker room and towards the exit of the facility.
Walk alongside Mr. Dyson. Not saying anything, just making my way.
I wanted to talk about a little detail. Adam, you mentioning his character's thoughts in the moment. I enjoy those personally, but there is a balance to be struck of not doing it too much, because I've seen some players, they want to describe their character thoughts every turn, and then you have some players, they never describe what the characters are thinking, because they think, well, the other characters would not hear my thoughts, so I should never describe them. But I think it adds a great resolution to the world. It's like adding another color. It increases the dimensions of the character. And the other players at the table get to participate in that, what the character is feeling and seeing. Without having, while knowing oh yeah, my character would not notice, but you as a player appreciate it. What do you think?
I think it's something to be discussed about in session 0, usually. Like, how much broadcasting, I'll call it, do you want to do with character thoughts? And I think it should be very moderate. If you do too much, it becomes like a slop, It's perfect fine food. And like in this situation, I think it's fine. It's the first one that we have in 30 minutes of game. 25 minutes of game. It's fine. I do not mind it. I think it, especially because he's alone. I think when it's the character is alone, it's more permissible. But when you like have other characters in the same scene, I feel like maybe hold back on that because the other character has to have some time too, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
And Adam, I want to address his latest 2 comments here. He said like crime, different speeds for separate scenes. I think I was moving too fast doing a kind of time skip. Phil and Elf are still in the locker dressing. I'm already bringing dinner home. I didn't get that impression. You just bought a thing, looked at the missing person, and pondered. I did not get that impression.
Time. It's hard because sometimes, like, I don't have a sense of scale of. Is it correct? Like they're in a spaceship situation here, like a colony ship, or was it at different planets? I'm not quite sure, because it was only brought up at the very start, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a space station, like an arc.
A space station. Okay. So, well, how long does it really take to buy food and go home? I think
But did he say that? Did he say he got home or that he's going home? Because going home is like first millisecond you walk towards your car is going home in my book, you know.
yeah,
And I feel like that's at least me. If I do that, what I'm doing is I'm signaling the GM. This is what my character is going to be doing until like time moves forward. So I'm giving my check to you're free to time skip now if you wish. You know, I'm my character is doing this.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I agree. Absolutely no problem with that. It's like, imagine if this was a dungeon crawl instead. It's the equivalent of skipping 3 dungeon rooms because they are not needed for the scene. You move to the dungeon room where the food is at, you grab the food, and then you move to the room where you are camping. The resolution doesn't have to be describing all 37 rooms included in passing in this mega dungeon or something. It's not needed.
If the GM wants to bring something about, he will stop you on your tracks. So it's fine.
Yeah. Adam is very invested in like not being hunted down by the detectives. It's like, please tell me please tell me I'm innocent. We're looking over at John Roleplay. It's like, I don't see any bruises.
Exactly. You preemptively excusing yourself too much. That makes you look guilty, man.
Yeah, I feel like I just have to come up with an excuse to check your house, you know? Like maybe there's like a corpse sitting in the basement or something.
Maybe we skip ahead a bit. Oh, sorry.
Yes. Well, yeah, he's being like too much of a model citizen. That's suspicious.
Good point.
A great moment to skip ahead. I agree.
Go towards the second third.
Second third? Like this? We can do like 30 minutes. See how they evolved from here. Because let's say it like this. If in the 30 minutes you guys are still at the water polo room, dressing up or eating dinner, something went wrong.
That's a very fair observation. Let's do that.
Now we're using one of those tunnels we used to use as kids, so it might be a while, but I'll meet you there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye. I hang up. I hang up and keep making my way through these musty maintenance tunnels. And say to
Nick, behind the sound of rapidly approaching footsteps, and the sound of wind, like something being swung. As a police swings a baton at the back of your head. Roll armor.
Okay, there might be some detail missing, but
We skipped.
Yeah, we skipped. But what did happen is there was a phone call conversation. Then they hung up, and he got immediately attacked. Like somebody moved in and attacked in the same turn. That bothers me a bit. What do you think?
I think we don't have enough context because we skipped. It seems that he was in a
Yeah.
tunnel, so in the dark there were sounds. You don't know how far they are. You can just hear the sound because it echoes so much. You cannot really tell. It's 10 meters away from me. I will not. I don't think we don't have warranty to come kicking down his house.
I agree.
Not on this one. And I like the Shoner dice. That's neat.
Very
Catches
good.
me off guard. I feel the thud right on my skull.
Okay, it's like an ambush.
Sort of lurch forward and look back and see what was that.
A cop with a smug grin on his face saying, "We're finding out today," and he rears back to give another strike.
Now, this might be. I'm picking up on something here, which is what is a common problem in role playing games of you have combat and you have roleplay and you separate them a bit, right? Of, as soon as we roll initiative, every turn I do, I have to attack, and if I don't, I'm losing like valuable damage and I might die. So I liked very much Adam's turn of reacting to the strike, like, wait, what's even going on? Talking. And the game master says, he's acting in character. I really liked it. Like, even the police officer immediately has a character in this scene. But then this is where I would put in a small push. And he pulls his arm back to swing for another strike. And allow the player to react to that before rolling damage again. Rolling for another attack. What do you think about this?
I think that's system dependent. How the system
Yeah.
handles strikes, and is it do you react? Is it opposed rolls? Is it static defense? I think that depends a lot on how the system handles it because it can get weird. Like for example, in one of our Leech Drugs game, I forgot how combat order worked. So the dog attacked me, and I instantly reacted to the dog and killed the dog. But
Yeah.
that should not have happened.
Yes.
Like naturally speaking, narratively speaking, that's what would happen. So I kind of violated how things worked because I was too immersed in a game in a moment. So I think that depends on the system. You need to work with the system, not against it.
Yes. And since this is like a no prep challenge, they came up. I think they're using their own system, or maybe they're using a different version of Traveler, or something along those lines. A 2d6 system, quick rolls, easy to decipher. And
Adam is going ballistic here. We should read his comments.
yeah,
So,
let's do it.
Yeah, crime. Way too many turns. I take like 7 turns in a row. It's terrible. I got lost in the moment. I found myself wanting to respond to the GM instead of just letting the turn end as if I needed to answer a prompt. Would you... Oh my eyes, man. Would you say it's generally better for the player to have the last word on the turn or the GM? probably the GM. I would say situation dependent, but probably the GM since he's doing the world, because he might just want. I don't know. I would not. I'd be fine with you say the last word and I cut like, oh, Phil, you know. I don't think there's a binary black and white answer for that last question. About the many turns, from where we just watched here, it didn't feel like many turns. It felt like a little back and forth, but maybe you did take a lot of time on what happened before this moment we click. If that's the case, like
Yeah.
7 turns, I think that may be a little bit too much. I would say maybe 4 maximum of back and forth. Then you let the other guys do their thing.
Don't so Adam's like, no, he gets first. I promise you, I'm a bad role player. You know, he's prostrating. That I think that's the word, prostrating himself in front of the
Yeah.
judge. And I'm like,
The
wait,
jury.
we're not even in the building yet. You know, we're just like filing the paperwork. We're going through the details. We're casing the scene. We basically play to resolve combat like it was a conversation. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. We can figure it out by the context clues of watching the game. There was one thing I wanted to mention to that of it's good to be conscious about it, but don't be anxious about it. Like there, you know, it's like a level of neuroticism of, oh, I have to wash my hands. I have to keep my hands clean. I should really clean my hands. To the point of where you end up like washing your hands 20 times a day, and every single time you use
Getting
soap.
blisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you start like scrubbing like everything off way too often. And you start like using ammoniac and bleach and whatever. You know, there is a neurotic element of that can happen if you start over analyzing the thing. So if while you're doing the game, try to be aware, but let it go, and focus on the game itself. Focus on being immersed.
Yeah. That would be that. I think that's a great advice. I would also add as an advice: try to fix one thing per session only. Like, don't have like, I'm gonna
Yes.
fix round robin. I'm gonna fix anchoring. I'm gonna like, I would pick just one and focus that. And if you think you had an improvement in the game, awesome. At least that's how I approach it, because it will take RAM to be aware of what you're doing as a player and being in character, right? And you want to be in character, so you need to have this healthy balance of being character and being conscious. Because whatever you do repetitively for a long period of time becomes second nature, right? So
Yes.
you eventually get to the point where you're naturally like counting your turn, not counting, but you're naturally measuring how long of a time you take per turns, because you've been little by little improving, you know. But your goal should still be trying to be immersed in your character, I would say.
In that way, it's like riding a bicycle. If you are conscious about riding a bicycle and you think about everything, you fall over all the time. Like,
Yeah. Or a car comes over, and because you're too distracted about how you're pedaling, you not see the car
yeah.
coming, you know what I mean?
So,
So, and I've been guilty of that. I'm playing a game and I for one second I start thinking like, oh, well, turn orders, and then I realize, wait, 5 things happen, like characters talk back and forth 5 times now, and I did not pay attention to what happened, so I'm lost. And I cannot go out of character. Hey, what happened? What did you guys do? You know what I mean? So it's also a conversation technique. Don't worry about what you're going to say. Worry about just listening and understanding what's happening, because you're naturally, as a person, you have an answer after that. And if you have nothing to say, you can just say, well, I have nothing to add to this topic, but at least you know what's happening. I think that when we're role playing, everybody is in 4D. I think that's very important too. pay attention to what's happening, and it will naturally come.
Absolutely. I had a video on this, like staying present in a role playing game, right? Of being distracted with the future, like thinking up what you want to do, what you're planning to do, or focusing on the past, but you know you don't remember all the little details that were not that good or were distracting or annoying. You only remember the good parts. But if you play, just focus on being there. You know, you don't have to. It's that's why it's not a performance, right? You don't have to perform like a race car for the other players. You just have to be present and role play. Like, enjoy the game, man.
Exactly.
Uriah, I had a bad habit of taking silence as license to continue talking. So when Adam isn't immediately responding, I get too antsy. I think it's good, like in this scene particularly. I'm very happy for the police to react after Adam's turn. I would personally
It's
like not
action.
having like attack again. I would have him like ready his arm. You know, it's like he's getting ready to attack twice. So, you know, you have the grin, and he's like getting ready for another swing. Because, you know, when I look at the role play game, I see is him like talking and saying like, "What the fuck? Is that a whole turn, or is that just like something you do and then you act on it?" But it reinforces that the character is in danger. If you do not act, he will beat you to a pulp and carry you off or whatever, or kill you even. So it escalates the threat instantly.
But outside that, it's an action scene, so I think it's important when an action scene, everybody try to keep like the pace high, like very snappy, because action, it'll help you feel like action. When you have like some more slow, not slow, need a good word for that. When you have more of just character intrigue going on, some pauses, some silences, I think they add to the intrigue. So it's a matter
Yeah.
of pace, you know.
Yeah.
Does the pacing fit what's happening around?
And he was Adam's character, Nick, he was definitely getting ambushed. So that was good. Like getting rushed and attacked, I think is completely fine because there was no chance of Adam noticing this. He was on the phone. He was distracted. He was doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
He got jumped.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. But I still think it's very system dependent on how much you handle that. Like, darn, like how does that work?
Yeah, telegraphing what the NPCs are doing. You respect the system. Try to respect the system in the end. Of like, okay, if Adam's turn is, you know, expletives and anger, that can be his turn. That's okay. But now Adam should pick up on it. Like, oh fuck, okay, I need to strike back. I need to run. I need to protect myself.
Yeah.
Another blow to the head. Roll armor.
Cracks me hard, and I fall down on the ground. And in a moment of fear, I command my dog to attack. I say, "Beans, kill!" Growling and fangs bared, Beans lunges after him for a strike.
Yes, Adam picked up on it. He acted in character, but he's not letting this time like his turn to attack skip, which is what I wanted to see.
Beans' fangs tear into the forearm of the cop, ripping right through his soft armor. Blood spurts out.
He drops the baton in shock.
I run for it.
He begins kicking at Beans, trying to get him to let go. And with a swift kick to the side, Beans yelps and lets go.
I keep bolting down the corridor with confidence that Beans will take care of this cop until I can get some distance between me and him. And I can hear the growling and ferocious barking from Beans as Beans goes for another attack. The well-trained German Shepherd continues to snarl and bite and just sinks deeper, ripping flesh from this cop, giving me a great chance for a getaway.
Adam is yelling,
A little,
"Turnflation!"
yeah, a little bit. I guess I have to agree.
Yeah. The thing is,
Hey,
you
man.
already described running away. Then you do the action for the dog, which I think is fine, but you have to discuss, okay, there's a dog involved. It's your pet, but it's an NPC. Who controls the dog? Do I roll and act out like when I give him a command? Or does the game master
I'm sure
roll?
they agreed on that before.
Yeah. Yes.
Which I don't think that inflation is about. Okay, so like you said, he starts running away. Then when he goes for the dog, for Beans, let's call the dog by its name. He takes a moment to talk about his character again, to mention that he's still running in fear, and I think that bit was a bit unnecessary. Just say what the dog does, and roll for the dog.
You exactly perfect. One turn for the character running in fear, one turn for the dog attacking again, and that's the end. Don't mention your character again. It's like I assume this is trying to embellish the scene a bit more, but you've already done everything you need to do at this point. Like there was anchoring, there was saying what you're doing, and acting in character, talking in character. Adam says he rolled two attacks.
For like your guys and the dogs, I assume.
Yeah, I did not see that, so I don't know.
I want to see what's gonna happen because there's still Phil and Alfonder, and they're not in that place where he is. I want to see how they'll handle how they'll handle Ron Harmon.
Adam says he's a beast master. I mean, this just comes down to the system you're playing. So does the system say you have to choose either your attack or your pet attacks, and that's your turn? Or is the bonus of being a beastmaster you have a pet that will attack at the same time when it's your turn? So that's just like a short conversation about that. You do it at the start of the game and you agree. So yeah, if you said, okay, only one or the other, but don't do both, and you did both, that's a mistake. But it's not a role-playing mistake, it's a systems mistake. So it doesn't matter that much, like in the grand scheme of things.
This is not our jurisdiction, you know what I mean? We do Crimes Against Roleplay. Crimes Against Mechanics is another division. We had some beef with that department. We cannot go there anymore.
Look, if you want to talk to a rules lawyer, we can't hold you back. You have the rights to a rules lawyer.
Looking at the cop, kind of glaring at him. I pull out and see what they're doing. Look over at
The door is slightly cracked. What is visible, a lot of moving bodies kicking around some of the debris. And the cop turns to you and says, "Mind your own business," before shutting the door behind him.
I say to Marcus, "Hey, sorry about."
I would like your opinion if Uriah is like is taking too many turns when he describes a scene that has a cop there and the cop saying something and then closing the door. Like, to me, it's one turn too many. It's like speeding up
Here's the thing.
like, yeah, it's like
I,
there's no
I
time
think I
to
understand
react.
what's happening. I think I understand what's happening here. Because he has to establish the scene, and he established the place with the character, and now the character still has a turn, so the character does a thing. I see perfectly the movie scene, you know, like there's the door and like, hey, this is none of your business. Like that happens in 3 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
But he needs to
Yeah.
establish the place, the character, and then one character does. So it feels long, but I don't think that in this situation, I did not get the impression that he was turning fleeting.
Okay. Yeah, I feel personally as a game master, I feel the need to allow some room for the character to react. Like, I would still say as a policeman, the policeman turns to and spots the onlooker, and then and he says, "Mind your own business," putting his hand on the door, and and then I have a pause. Like, next turn, like, the door closes, the door shuts in front of you.
That's what you mean. I'm still a bit confused because there's action scene with Adam, but I don't know if you and Alphonsus also have an action scene. I would have a hard time like shifting from like, okay, fast pace, and then like, okay, regular pace, you know what I mean? I would have a problem
Absolutely.
shifting into those two things. So that's why I'm still interested in what they're gonna do.
Absolutely. If one guy is in combat and the others are not, it can be hard to manage like multiple scenes at different places because somebody's life is in danger. But your character might be
Yeah.
walking, to the vending machine to get some soda, which is gonna take him 3 minutes, but somebody else is dying.
That, by the way, I had to make a split-second decision. I don't know. I just went with Nick. I didn't mean anything by it.
What? Oh, that you're going to the promenade?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I mean, I'm offering spaghetti. I'm sure you young guys got better stuff to do. I turn around and just start walking down the tube, same direction towards my house.
I catch the last sniff of the aroma from that room. I think I recognize that smell. I'm not. Let me see. Let me think. Fire.
Rot.
I follow along with Marcus. This is strange. It's like something's rotting in there.
Yeah. Those guys all seem official, so.
Yeah,
it's like I said before, you don't want to go sticking your nose where it doesn't belong in New Dawn.
I think now we have enough context to describe a problem. Like there was Adam is concerned about inflation here. It's like, I'm using too many attacks. If anything, I think now it's the opposite. You have one action scene, and at the same time you have two characters debating of like if they should get involved. Like, we all have the meta knowledge of like, oh, okay, the other character is very close by getting abused by police officers. Are we gonna step in and help the player character, like get our characters involved? But we keep it all immersed in universe. What would the characters do? But while combat is happening, the character gets a turn, the game master reacts like attacks, then the other two players take their turn, and we go around. So that if you want to get involved, there's a ticking clock. You cannot have like a 90-second conversation if you want to get involved or not, because after 90 seconds he might be dead.
Yeah, we need to keep the. It needs to be fair. If you're taking 3 turns, they should have 3 turns back and forth.
Yes.
Because I think that keeps a consistent pace. And once combat is over, I guess it'll be a little hard to pull it off. But the GM has some power here to like start calling some names. Like directing the scene in order to bring back to the regular pace of 1-to-1.
You've used a trigger word, Nicholas. But yes.
I did. I guess he was right.
But this is an element
They were
of
in a very
pacing.
different part of station. See, okay, that's what I presumed. So they are not in the same place. It's just happens to be police brutality happening in 2 places at once.
I guess that's okay. Because the time element becomes really sensitive if the other players have a chance to like act and change the tide of the battle of the events unfolding on the other end in the other scene. Then you have to be extra careful because you don't want to have 2 timelines running at the same time, but one of them is 10 minutes later. Everybody gets confused by that.
Yeah.
So if it splits up like that, you have to bring it together.
But overall, I think roleplay is great. Just keep anchoring, keep the increasing the resolution. Maybe the only offense that I see here is turn inflation, like you said. But that you can pay that off with community service. So I don't think you need to worry too much, Adam.
It's not a crime, it's a misdemeanor, okay? Now, do we want to watch more? Like, give them a bit more of spotlights, or move on?
Because we still have another. Because this is a double creature feature. So, Adam, unless you have like one specific spot you'd like us to check here, I think we would call this one off for now. I'll watch this game by myself later on. I got hooked. And if I have something else, I might make a video on it or talk with you guys directly. But roleplay,
Yeah.
you guys doing a good job here. It's pretty good.
I think you've seen enough. Oh, okay. I will accept this.
That's what a guilty person said.
All right. Now I'm gonna do I'm gonna pull ourselves up real quick and have a cool transition. There we go. So we can see our faces again. Adam's roleplay session. The ultimate no prep challenge with Phil, Uriah, and Elf Hunter. I would call it great success for roleplay. Great, like, coming up with stuff on the spot. A lot of strengths being shown, and the weaknesses, like some stumblings here and there is it just felt completely natural what was happening in the game. Nothing about this like was crying out to me as, oh my god, this is ruining everything. Like that. No, it's completely fine. If anything, I think Adam is being way too critical to himself, like, so incredibly engaged in the role-playing part of the hobby. The honeymoon phase of, I've discovered a new way to play the game and people that like to play this way, and now trying to drill home, improving in all the different aspects. It's just fantastic to watch, but don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah. I'll use the dirty word, but have some fun along the way. Yeah. Yeah, I might show up on your guys' next Ultimate No Prep Challenge if time allows it.
Definitely 4D role playing that happens here.
LSG Dean made a comment here. Who cares if you act a little when you roleplay? Yeah, about the acting part. Like for example, Adam is not acting; he's role playing. Like he's not like doing the voice. He's not like doing the things, moving about. I guess he like did like but he's not like putting it all in, and that's fine. You know what? Because he's role playing, I can still see what his character is doing in my mind space, and that's
Yes.
and that's wonderful. Like if you enjoy doing the voice, if you enjoy like getting a little bit more in the performative side, as long as you role play, that's fine. You know what I mean? So the acting or the performing part is the cherry on the cake, but you cannot have a cake with only cherries. You know what I mean? So I only want your silly voice if you're role playing, because the silly voice alone will not hold, does not constitute. It doesn't count as role play.
A great example is Red Bastard, played by yours truly next to me. It's it's a goblin voice. So what does an annoying goblin? It's like a dangerous creature, but he's small, so it's like a squeaky voice. Nicholas doing the voice, but staying in character. It's not just making silly jokes or coming up with an accent. It's embodying the character and focusing on what he would do and describing those scenes and role playing. I feel people, especially people who don't roleplay that often, really struggle to separate those two aspects. Sometimes I even struggle to describe it correctly because I can feel it, it's like when what it when you see it. It's like, oh yeah, that's a role player, and oh yeah, that guy is he's doing the accent, but he's not role playing. Like what's happening in this
Mhm.
game?
Exactly.
Okay, let's move over to
Great game.
the. Go ahead.
Great game. We stamped with big red stamper. Like what pardoned. Is that what you say? Pardoned? Pardon, right?
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Pulling it up.
This is a new one, right? Uh,
Lady Arbeitz, you seem to be confused.
Yes.
We got David Bowie with an arbeited armor there. Okay, so this guy, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Dark Heresy or Warhammer. So this is a new guy. He was on Max stream yesterday.
Yep.
And he mentioned that he has some videos. So we've never seen any of his videos, any of his work before. He just showed up. The same thing we said about Adam's game. Well, was Uriah running your guy's game? We're gonna say here. We're gonna blind watch. We're gonna criticize or look at. We're gonna scrutinize roleplay and only that. So attacks are not gonna be personal. Once again, okay.
Indeed, there were we had a good chat in the chats itself. The one thing that stood out to me is the claim like, oh yeah, I've been 4D role-playing forever. Which makes us always very, when we hear that, because our group coined the term 4D roleplay, so we understand what it means. For a newcomer to have done it for years and say it's the same thing, it usually every time we watch those games, it's they have different expectations. They have a different definition, but it's not 4D roleplay. So maybe we should clarify I want to clarify that 4D roleplay is a quality statement. It's like saying, oh yeah, like my vegetables, they're eco vegetables. You know, it's a stamp of approval that follows a set of guidelines. And you know,
Would you
it's
like
like,
to have a
yeah, some of the
sorry, go ahead.
guidelines are really bad, and some of them can be really good, but it separates them from others.
So a quick definition of 4D, just make it really clear. Actually, I guess I will start with 3D because it'll make more sense. When we
Yeah.
say 3D roleplay, we're talking minimum, and we're like saying maybe 15% or 20% maximum of out of character talk. Like eliminate as much as possible out of character talk. So the GM does not exist as a person in a game. You cannot ask the GM questions directly. You do it in character. So you don't ask, oh, is the door locked? No. I go ahead and I try nudging the doorknob. You know, you probe the world, not the game master. So you be in character. And 4D is when you add elements of co-creation. So players
Yes.
can introduce elements that can be assumed to have been there because of the way the setting works. If I'm in a kitchen, I can probably co-create a knife. There will be a kitchen knife, though the GM still has the power to alter that by saying that the knife is rusty or it's bent out of shape, it's blunt. Would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Oh man,
like the co-creation part is the main feature of 4D
don't worry.
roleplay. Yeah.
I have to go AFK for like 2 minutes. Okay. I
Okay.
need to attend something. 2 minutes.
Got it. Yeah. So I'm gonna talk a bit more. 4D roleplay, like the core feature is the co-creation of adding elements into the scene, into the environment that makes sense, that like fits the setting. And one of the things you avoid is creating something that gives you extra power. You know, you're not gonna co-create pulling out a shotgun under the table in your fantasy medieval setting, or even in your modern day setting. Like, don't just invent a shotgun. The shotgun should be established to be part of the character you're playing. You know, it's like, oh, just inventing a feature to beat the enemy to win the game is lame, basically. And another element of 4D role playing is that it's a quality statement. When you do 4D, you do not speak out of character. When it's your turn, it's where are you? What do you do? And speaking in character. Anchoring. Keep the turns concise. Don't ask the game master questions. And also, the game master doesn't answer questions. You, like a big element is also like vetting your players, because the players have to agree to the rule set. If one player doesn't buy into the 4D roleplay, and you know, he's more there to play the game or beat the encounters, and he doesn't enjoy roleplay as much, what ends up happening is like everybody else lowers their expectations to his level. You know, to what's the word, to uh amend, to compromise, basically, to play with the player, but the roleplay suffers. And yeah, there's also an element of reading. There's also an element of reading and knowing the rules if you 4D roleplay, because if you cannot ask any questions, you just you have to know more about rules. And if you make a mistake about the rules in the game, it's not that big of a deal. Small mistakes, you can brush over them as long as the scenes keep flowing. And after the game, you can bring it up and talk about it. Ask like, wait, did I do that wrong? Or did you notice anything like from the rule side? And most of the time it's not that it's not that difficult. Not that big of a deal.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I brought up like the part of like 40 roleplay, not talking out of character, because people say, "Oh yeah, I roleplayed," but have they tried? That's why it's coined the term 40 roleplay. Have they tried roleplaying without ever breaking character the whole session? Yeah, it's if it's not an expectation set at the table from the start when you do the session, it's impossible to enforce. So, but I'm looking forward to roleplay. I'm not gonna be too hard if they talk out of character, because I don't even expect that to be to happen anyways. But it would be a pleasant surprise.
So this is the intro, right, for the campaign, the game.
Yes, let's watch this together, and people in chat can tell us, is this a game they would be interested in playing as a role player, or if anybody who's in chat can leave a comment if this is attractive to them.
Lady Arbites, you seem to be confused. The Inquisition is second to the Emperor only. You are to be commanded by us, not the other way around.
The things you can expect of their games if you join.
Try to jump off the bike onto the hood of your vehicle. And he fails and gets crushed on your So you're gonna hear...
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I'm a highborn. Your words mean nothing to me.
The Cedos are not all bad. Some
I
seek
don't
wisdom.
listen to me, my
And
good
to
man.
aid
I
the
don't care about
Imperium.
the...
No, you
now
must
listen
listen.
here. Now listen here.
We are not a monolithic force anymore.
Can I just
Without
fucking
the
shoot this guy?
transformation, please
I shoot him
stop
in the
this
head.
mad campaign.
For righteous fury. I shoot him in the back of the head.
I rise up, gripping through my robe a small pouch of earth from my home world, before raising the same hand out and unleashing the lightning on him. And as it does, his face starts to slowly melt as his cloak steam from the energy unleashed into his body.
The explosive force of the attack ruptures the target's flesh and scrambles his nervous system, knocking him to the ground. The target is stunned for 1d10 rounds and is knocked prone. He also suffers blood loss and must take a challenging toughness test or fall unconscious. As the manhole cover pops open after I've sort of knocked it closed after leaning down there, I just give him the Will Smith treatment. It's like, welcome to the bridge. Blast the shotgun to the face.
She grabs her chemical flamer and uses it as like a crutch to try to stand up on her ruined leg. Takes in a sucking breath and realizes that the breath that she takes isn't going through her mouth, but instead is going through her chest. As a sucking wound bleeds out all over her armor, she falls to the ground again.
I look at Korax and I say, do you think these melter rounds would penetrate through his ship?
The purpose for your question would be?
To crash his ship and him not suspect us?
That would serve our purposes very little.
Okay. I didn't, I don't know what happened down there. He's leaving abruptly, going to assembly. I didn't think it was a good thing, but okay.
Just make sure he doesn't touch me, Don't want him to
So
be
Squall will
poisoned.
go ahead and just put his fucking boot on the back of his head and say, keep your fucking filthy hands down, heretic.
Gallus just struts down beside his head and says, "You don't understand, do you? You cannot buy your way out of this shit. You're fucked. You're quite literally fucked."
The keys! You want the keys?
My hope servant. Neither me nor my companions are gonna kill you.
Very well. I sold the key.
To whom?
Someone in the sanatorium. I don't know anything about him. From the lightning and the tempest, our Emperor. Deliver us. By thy agony and bloody sweat, by thy golden throne and thy death, by thy destruction and re-emergence as the God of man, keep and strengthen us. We who fight for thee. The smoke slowly fills the room.
All right.
Production value is impressive. Compared to our games, this is Hollywood.
Yeah.
I did recognize Fallout music in the background. Just first millisecond, like, oh, this is Fallout. And I just thought it was neat. Like Fallout on. Okay, so like you said, we cannot scrutinize him and expect 100% out of character, right?
Yeah.
Like the first part, there were like some funny of them, like being friends and laughing at the situation. Fine, that happens. I want to see how much of that happens because maybe that was like one very comedic moment, and I get it. Like it's funny, you laugh, you chuckle, But I want to see like how frequent is the. I'm afraid it will sound bad, but how frequent is the goofing off? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's like that out of character banter that you do every time somebody role plays something, and you make a comment to another player at the table about it. It's like, oh boy, here we go. The paladin is being all uptight
It's
again.
Paladin.
Yeah, stuff like that. So a couple things that I also noticed is they use both battle maps, but also like maps of rooms, like how it
Establishing
looks like on
shots.
the bridge of the ship, and having the tokens of the characters to represent where they would be located, which we skip completely, right? Like for the most part.
The main reason we do, there's two big reasons. For me, the biggest one is that as a GM, it takes my RAM. I need to be DJ, director, I need to worry about tokens. Even if players can move their own tokens, it's a level of thing that it's taken away from me being the narrator of the world. And it does the same for the players. On the player side, now you're worrying about positioning. You have this frozen time, bird's eye view of the situation, something that normally your character would not have. I guess this is 40K, so you have psychers who can scry, Farsi and stuff like that. But even then, we prefer to skip that and go into the meat of being a character. But let's see how they pull it off.
Yeah, a lot of that for me is a problem of it's a lot of work, and as a game master, I want to play the game as well. So I've done the DJ and the prep work before for the Descent into Avernus games. That's on the YouTube, and the other games I've played, where I did not reinforce the roleplay really much. The premise was more finding people that I like and playing the campaign together, trying to play through an adventure book. And it just ended up being like too much work for not enough reward. Because I did not realize the thing I really enjoy as a game master of playing role-playing games. Which is role-playing. It sounds so weird. Maybe it sounds like, repeating or cyclical logic. But I do hope that people understand what I mean by that. I don't mean to be like cyclical or to make it confusing. And let us know if you hear this and you're still confused. Like watch to the end of the stream or just leave a comment. You may also watch the other videos where we went into more detail. So we can watch from the start or just jump in anywhere. Let's see if maybe they set it up at the start.
It seems like there's action happening, so I think it's a good point to go off.
One thing I want to mention is this guy. He's not. I wouldn't say that he's a YouTuber, like posting. He's not posting weekly. All of the content is inviting players from Roll20, and he ended up like a couple months ago posting basically every session on YouTube at the same time. So I had to look which session, which like they're called missions 7, game 10, was the newest one I could recognize because it was all jumbled up. I was trying to go for the newest one to best represent like what the game master has learned, and how the players are role-playing. Want me to start?
Yep, let's go.
Desoleum district, an urban area of the city of Vasuna Regis. The
Is the audio good? Should I lower it or all good?
It's good. If people are in the chat, if it's bad, you just let us know.
Yeah, let us know, chap.
The buildings are large, dark rockcrete with beautiful Gothic architecture. You can hear the screeching of monorail trains and the sparkle above you in the sky. All kinds of people can be seen around you under the neon lights of the clubs lining the street. Vigil patrols have been seen in their patrol cars. Criminals seem to have taken over parts of the district. You pass by modern markets. You see many wealthy people here, also their servants. They all scatter as soon as the drama begins, and you see a few old auto carriages parked by this massive old building. The councillor is standing by his car alongside several guards and gang members. They are well armed and they immediately draw their guns.
I think we have a lot to talk about already.
Yeah. I want to say though, first of all, amazing voice, dude.
Yes.
That is a powerful voice for a narrator. Really cool. Tell your mom and your dad congratulations. They did a good job on giving you the genetics for like a really nice voice.
I really enjoyed the descriptions. I feel very much okay. This represents 40K pretty well. This represents like there's technology involved, but it's not like super sci-fi future because it's all a bit crumbly. I like that part really well. Now I'm not sure if how he does it. Is it the block text, or does he have a couple notes, which is a thing I would prefer to do. You know, it's like you have a combat ready. That's what's gonna kick off this session. You're gonna have bullet points, or maybe you wrote a block text to describe this scene.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons he stopped is UC. Am I correct? That's a big thing in our community, and the GM says things like you see, you feel, you hear, you remember, you know. When you verb or use the second person in verbing someone else's character.
Yeah.
We avoid doing that as a GM. The idea that we sport is the player is 100% responsible for his character, and he decides what the character does, and feel how he reacts. As a GM, you can still manifest things, so you don't want to impose that, because maybe even though there's a burning car in front of the guy, maybe he's so obsessed with the corpse next to him that his brain is blacking that whole chaos out, and he's only focusing on that one person that was his friend and his platoon and he died, you know? So the player can still do that. So what we would do, instead of saying you see this, you see X, is X, or there is an X 10 meters from you, or there is an X standing so and so, and the player gets to decide if he wants to engage with that or not.
Yes,
it's a small thing, but it goes a long way.
At the start of a session, it's totally fine for the game master to set the scene, because you have to start somewhere, and you might want to start at something exciting. Okay, the player characters will be walking through the city anyways at some point in their lives. You can make an assumption, but sometimes even that can be too much depending on the players and their characters. You know, it's the same thing as like, do I have a good example for that? I don't know. You tell me if you have a good one. but Nicholas. But it can feel like, oh, okay, the game master is forcing me into this encounter he has prepared. A shit will hit the fan. When my character has a car, and I would only like travel the streets inside of my car because I have one in this city.
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't
I
have
see
the
what you
car,
mean.
and I'm outside, and I have to deal with this problem now.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is clearly a scene in progress, so I don't think that's what happened. And he did mention that players have full agency, so
yes,
I'm willing to believe in him that if his players decided to just book it out of there, he will not stop them. At least not as a GM. Maybe the world would react,
yeah,
and because it's 40K, right? So they're being monitored and commanded. Like if you desert, you're gonna be hunted down and killed. So maybe his superiors will intervene, but not him as the GM, as the person.
absolutely. Which
That's the world.
that's what we agree with. Absolutely. Like, it's not fighting the game master. It's fighting the world. If people in the streets attack you, it's not literally the game master like messing with you. It's the world messing with you. But it's also it's 40K, so expect the world to be harsh and unforgiving.
Yeah.
Who is closest to the council?
Oh. So, can he even avoid this because he's using a battle map, right? Asking a question like that.
Well, let's see why. Let's see why he asked this question. I want to see like his reasoning behind why it was so necessary.
Yes. Yeah. Who is closest to? Yeah, I don't do those. I don't ask questions like that anymore. It's it's breaking the immersion, which some might look at this as a tiny detail, but in 40 roleplay we put it as that's what you do if you roleplay in 40.
Trying to apprehend the counselor, we were trying to apprehend the gang.
His brother, right?
Oh, yes.
Or the brother of the gang leader. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, my bad.
The person that was talking with the counselor.
Correct. All right. So you're.
I will say a huge respect for not native English speakers. Role-playing in role-playing games is tough. That's so hard. So it's always makes me happy to hear the accents shine through. People trying to roleplay that are not Americans, that are not English. It's amazing.
You're about to grab him. Who's grabbing him?
Me.
Cool. Who's close? Is anyone on that side of the road? And who's on the other side of the road?
No, Mr. Nova will be on that side of the road.
Okay.
With the priest.
Alrighty. What about you, Aaron?
Yes, Franz was also with me, trying to apprehend the counselor.
Okay, so you're on the same side of the road. Got it.
Yep.
What about you, Boyle?
Boyle would be like in the alleyways. He's already moved a bit away, but he's still like he's like in the alleyway, so he is where he is basically, just like a bit tucked in there.
Do you have a bird's eye view, or are you on the ground floor?
I believe that the last thing that I said was that I was going to drop into the alleyway to like run away, but I imagine that will change considering the current situation.
So you're in the alleyway, but you're looking at the scene.
Yes.
All right.
We've got quite a lot to talk about here.
Everybody roll in.
Yes.
Where do we start from?
It's well, the game master decided to open. I believe this is the start of the game because it's a 5-hour session. So the start of the recording is probably okay. Let's start playing. I click record so we can review what's happening. He describes the scene, and then he asks, 20 questions? Not literally, but it's like 8 questions, right? Of where are you guys? Who's by the console? Is somebody nearby? And then asking each player like, okay, where's your character and your character? so that he can move them in place. Is there a better way to do this? If you use a battle map, or is this like peak battle map roleplay that you can do?
Yeah, I would still suggest drop the VTM. Not VTM.
Roll20?
Virtual. What? Yeah, what do you call it? It's virtual table.
Virtual tabletop. Drop the VTT.
VTT, yeah. Drop the VTT. I don't think it's serving you. Maybe you guys are more into the tactic, because I know 40K is derived from a war game, and a lot of people enjoy. It's a chunky salsa. It's
yes.
There's a lot of beats to this soup. I get that. We've played it before. But I think that if you're role playing Warhammer, I think you can. There's so much to be role played there, because especially if you're a fan, you already know some of the lore. There's a lot of juice you can extract from role playing a singular character and being immersed in that character. It's a very rich world too, Warhammer, especially with 40K, both fantasy and 40K. I don't think the VTT is doing you justice. Because from the trailer part, I saw some moments that excuse me. I saw some moments that were very interesting. Like, oh, there's some intrigue going on. And I'm not saying you should have it be 100% dramatic all of the time, but you can have something interesting and relevant happening all of the time if you really lean into the role play. Drop the VTT, be immersed in your character. You can still have combat and many parts of combat happening without a VTT. It will still feel cinematic. You don't need to ignore rules as well. A lot of people accuse us of just ignoring rules, right? You're just LARPing. No, we take rules seriously. We try to go by the system to make it work.
Yes.
That would be one of my considerations. Because I don't know, it's just 3 minutes. We're being nitpicky. Like, you could have started like this. This is the middle of the 10th session. Boom, action. Just go. It's Fran's turn. Fran just says where he is and what he's doing. Next one, Nicholas Solomon. Thug number 3. Thug with the what do you call the spiky Moican.
What do you mean spiky? In what way?
Is that Moican, the hair stuff?
Oh, the
crest?
mohawk. Like
Mohawk, yes. Yeah, like the Iron Mohawk, just snappy action.
Yeah. It's definitely the play. This game is set up to play out the tactical combat part out. So you have the battlefield. He has the grid on the battlefield. Now I would say, do you even need the grid? If you just remove the grid, I'm thinking less about if I'm 25 feet away and more about, am I close enough to shoot him with a pistol?
Mm-hmm.
And I can visualize this in the world. And, you have the battle map. I could also pull out the tape in the program, measure it real quick. But if we get rid of the VTT completely, and when it's my turn, I say, I rush up close enough to pull out the pistol and shoot at medium range. Hiding behind one of the cars. So,
how often have you been in a situation where you barely could hit the guy because of one square?
Yeah.
I think it doesn't make sense. I think it's better off without it. Anyhow.
Yeah, let's listen to some more.
My piece,
yeah. We let them role play for a bit.
Initiative, right?
Is the initiative threat still there?
Boom.
Yes, there is.
There it is. And I'll bring you to a new page. 1 moment.
Remove the tracker, we have to reroll it. You animal.
You can see
This
there's a
is
lot
a
of
VTT.
yeah, there's a lot of effort put into setting this up, which I like doing for little bits, and then realize it was never as satisfying as I was hoping it to be. Playing a computer game with pen and paper is so much work. It's so incredibly much work. But we can just imagine it, Nicholas. You know, we can just roleplay.
Yeah. Play a little bit more.
Oh, look that. Something deep inside me which just wants to do a flick of a wrist and melt that highborn citizen. Because I know it's that
the woman who rejected you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, probably is.
Just a friendly, which I write it off as an accident, right?
She's there.
So we have some amount of character banter, right?
Yes.
Between friends.
Yeah.
We have some amount of character banter in between friends, which fine. And
Nicholas.
I'll tell why you have some out of character in between banter. Wait. I know why. Because you need to spend 1 minute adjusting the VTT, so there's silence. And it's not like it's meaningful silence in a scene where characters are staring at each other in that, Mexican standoff kind of thing. That's not what's happening.
Yeah.
This is a thing. You know what this is? If this were a movie, this is not dramatic silence. This is the internet connection got slow and the movie is buffering. So you're just sitting there looking at the little circle, like, oh, it's buffering. Killed your mood, man. You're killing your own mood before the movie started.
It's like, oh, okay, wait. It's gonna take another 5 minutes before we get to start. Okay, let me get up. Just like get a cup of coffee and return back
Exactly.
afterward. Might take a while until it's my turn. I'm pulling out my phone at this point. I'm pulling out my phone, checking Discord.
On a different tab.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm watching my second monitor where I'm watching the Twitch stream or something like that.
So that's why we say, like, really cool effort something that you have going on here. Warhammer. I forgot his name. You just call him Warhammer.
He showed up at the start. Knights of Ascalon.
Knights of Ascalon. Was that his name?
Warhammer 40k
Okay.
Dark Heresy - Knights of Ascalon. Very long.
Knights. Go your knights. Try. I imagine like these guys are your friends. Try dropping the VTT and try thinking, what can I do to avoid out of character talk? You won't have these silences because you won't have VTT to like adjust and like assign this token to X character. So that those silences that will die, and players will be more urged to do something in their turns because they need to help you move the scene as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And instead of a battle map, you can use a picture of the area, like the type of city you want them to have the encounter in. What kind of street are we talking about? Is it a main street? Is this like an upper level of the hive city, where you can see deep down and like things are cleaner? Or is it like all the way amongst the dregs of society with trash everywhere, graffitis, weird symbols where you're not sure, are those chaotic or just gang signs? I don't know, and I don't want to figure it out. Having one image can do a lot of lifting on that regard to have everybody be like, oh, okay, I have a frame of reference for the situation.
40k is rich with imagery, so there's a lot to pull out from.
Yeah, that's one of the positive things of, I can just take some images and it does the heavy lifting for me of trying to describe this alien sci-fi world future.
So do not take this personally, Knights, but I will play the video. We want to see how long does it take for things to actually happen narrative-wise. Okay.
And I'm looking for another point. Are you separating combat from roleplay? Like, is that a thing in your games? Are we separating roleplay from combat?
Has everybody roll?
By the way, this is exactly why I'm not using initiative in our D&D game. Having to say out of character roll for initiative is like, oh my god,
turn off.
Yeah, we are changing our mindset. So far it has not been needed for 6 sessions, and I like it this way for now. Maybe once we have like 6 enemies at the same time, I have to rethink my strategy. But so far it's been working out.
Oh, looks like my thing didn't come up.
I'm increasing the volume. Some of the players are low. I like the dramatic battle music.
I was going to mention it. You can leave it playing. I like music, but I think this is too loud for something not intense at all, which is just in tokens.
I can't select the top left one.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
only like the one's like, oh, thank you, perfect.
Yeah, I'm
all right.
getting flashbacks.
Tavi?
This is
Yes.
By
the way, you can hear Tetricus roaming through the streets towards you. The engine is difficult to ignore.
As Nicholas hears Tetricus in his rat.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll sneeze.
Yeah, no worries.
Sneeze.
Yeah, get it out.
Oh man, no way. Sorry. What I was about to say is, so, okay, 5 minutes. We're just adjusting tokens. You already established. First thing you did, establishing the shot. I was like, okay, this is kind of nice. Something is going on. 30 seconds of establishing shot. Then for the next 5 minutes, it's just you adjusting tokens. And then after the tokens are done, you ask for initiative. Fine. The system requires that. You can skip that, but fine. No re-engager is the system. And after that, you take another turn to describe, oh, by the way, there's also this happening. You are taking turns that you don't need to. What do I mean by that? We use that word a lot, round robin. The idea is you and the players should have the same amount of time for your turns. So you said something, go to the next guy, he does his thing. No. This way, the pacing is consistent. Everybody gets to roleplay and play their role both as a character and as a player. The player will play his character. You, as the narrator, as the GM, will narrate the world, and it will your perception of time of that scene will be more will be closer to a real time passing in the game, right? I like the idea that you should try to keep again, this is very system dependent, but try to make your turn short to the point, concise to the point where the amount of time that it takes for you to say what you do is the amount of time that it takes to do that thing. You know, keep it like cycling, round robin. Everybody's being concise and fast.
I'm very worried that we are 5 minutes in and the players didn't even have a turn to anchor their characters, like give them a bit of detail of what they're doing. Because I think you can have the same thing, you can have a similar thing, but if he wants to stick to the virtual tabletop, it's like, okay, each player take a turn, describe where you are, what you're doing. But have that be like part of the social contract. Yeah, okay, when we roll initiative, you get to describe the part, like move yourself at a place where you would naturally be. Because we started here, it's the only time the players can choose like where they want to be, like as shit hits the fan, so to say.
That approach. He will try to grab the target once more, reaching with his cybernetic hand, now covered in full scroll to appear more fashionable and distinguished. He will attempt to grapple the target.
Okay.
There was a role play.
Mm-hmm. In the third person, I prefer characters playing their characters in the first person, but I will not put that against the Davi, Nicholas, the guy who's playing Nicholas Comotes.
Yeah, it's that is in the realm of a matter of taste.
Exactly.
I stay
And
more
again,
versed.
man, look, you having like to go all around the VTT to grab one token, man. Like you don't need to do that. Don't do that to yourself. Stop hurting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Stop hitting you. Yeah, it's like we're watching like John roleplay. Watch this other guy, cut his arm to summon the 40k demons. It's like, what, guys? Like, do we stop him? Like, I don't know. It's roleplay adjacent, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure
I'm
what to
sure
do with
you.
this.
Yeah, I'm sure you're skilled enough.
Yeah.
I am not. I'm sure you you have like little things for you, so it's probably doesn't take as much mental juice as it would take on me, but it's still a little bit of mental juice. But let's see. Things are happening. So 6 minutes in, things are happening. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the folder structure. This is a guy who puts months, hours, many hours into setting up all of this to play this kind of game. So we're telling him to drop it. Well, it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow, because man, you must be invested to play this kind of game.
As all GMs are, right? Let's be honest.
Yes.
GMs are naturally invested in what they do, and we want players to be like that too. Which
we want them
to
to
be fair,
enjoy the game.
our
That's
games,
why. Yeah.
Yeah, our games, everybody is invested to the same level. Everybody's sipping on that juice.
Yeah, and we have to vet the players to make sure they want the same thing out of the game as we want, so that we can play on an even level, and I don't have to spend 20 hours setting up a Roll20 to play a D&D game where we walk through a forest. And yeah, literally, right? Walking through a forest for 6 sessions. But there's so much happening in that like limited space, in that isolated space.
I do not dodge. Fail to dodge.
And I'm about to fail to hit. Man, I like what I call him. And despite him, as he moves forward, either the target slips or just instinctively moves back just out of reach. He, noticing that this will not be an easy snatch and grab, he will go onto the microbeads and say, "Do not falter, soldiers of the Emperor. Now it is our time. Bring down the heathens, capture the infidel. Let him spew his secrets, attempting to inspire more gusto into his comrades."
Awesome.
I want to talk about this.
Yeah, the guy is, and his accent is serving him as well here, because that's adding to his character. Gusto. He did with that with gusto. I just think Knights doesn't need to say awesome. Just react. Whatever happens in the world after he says that. Remember, Knight, you don't exist. This is all a dream. Wake up. I mean, but you don't exist in a game, right? You just you are just a narrator. So you don't need to answer back. The same way that players should not be making jabs at what's happening, they should be in character.
And he didn't just roll an attack, he describes his attack. The game master says it does not try to dodge, which I assume is a system thing you have to mention if you're like even attempting to dodge or not. Like we realized that in our game too. Yeah, so he describes it, which he stays immersed. He picks up like, okay, it's not dodging, I can just roll. He rolls. Then he describes how it's a failure. Like, I can't just make a snatch, like snatch and drive away. And then he does the speaking in character, which is all part of like a good role playing moment so far. He doesn't have to say, oh, I rolled a 46. Is a 46 good enough? No, the target is 44. Oh, it's a -2 degree failure. What is, how, it's like, that happens at so many tables. Like, what is a -2 degrees? Like, how much failure is that? Then getting into weird arguments about looking up in the rulebook. They got the rules mastery under control so far.
Roller command force.
Yes.
Oh.
Sick.
Would you pick during your turns? You pick one roll where you get plus 55. Rather.
Plus 50.
But only for one roll. There is no other.
Sick. That's very good.
How would you handle a buff in a role-playing game?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Well, it depends on how the buff works in any given system, but like you do anything else, you just describe what your character does. Oh, I've used a stim pack, right? With vigorous rush of energy, I don't know, push away the car. There you go. And you roll and you add any numbers that you need to add or advantage or whatever.
This one is difficult.
Just do like you do anything else.
Because he's role playing, but it's also codified as an ability command, and since he succeeded, the people can pick one thing they do and add a modifier to improve their success.
Okay.
But how do you make that fit in the world and while also have the players realize, oh, this was the boarding inspiration, this was that one ability that gives me a bonus.
Yeah, that one.
That's hard.
I'm sad to say, the system requires you to go out of character. But that's your one leeway. That's your one excuse. Don't overuse it,
Yeah.
Okay, Chris. That was your roll?
Yeah.
I see you on the table there. Okay.
There's two of me.
There's two of you?
Well, I can't select the one that's there. So I just dragged one from the... Yeah.
There you go.
No, I can't select. That's the one I can select.
Alright, do it again.
But at this point, at 8 minutes in, now I'm actually getting vexed that he is still managing the VTT, deleting tokens, like clearing up stuff, when I want the game master to pay attention to what I'm doing when it's my turn. That one vexes me, like, because I've been on so many tables where, oh, it's my turn, I finally get to speak, and all the other players, I swear, it happens way too often, all the other players, they pull out their phone, they start chatting to each other, they lean back in their chairs, and oh, it ruins the evening for me. At that point, I'm checking out. Like the game master, he looks at his GM at his DM cheat sheet and writes down notes, like looking down his paper, instead of looking at me and paying attention to what I'm, of how I'm role playing.
Agree.
Beautiful. I'm so happy that you agree. I don't know what I would do if you disagreed, honestly. All right.
All right. The oh damn, is it the target's turn? No. The guy above you is going to look down and draw a huge cannon out of the car, and he will immediately kneel down, and you hear this gun charge up, and it just sounds absolutely massive. And he's going to aim at you, Tavi.
So, again, this might be a little bit of a nitpicking, but he will do this, or he does that.
Stay
That's
in
what
the
I mean.
present. Say what happens. You don't, if you if you give ambiguity, the players, it's gonna leave insecurity of, like, can I imagine this or not? Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. In a movie, there's like this shady guy walking. He does this. What do you think he'll do, Zamora? You see in the movie, like, this shady guy is walking, eyeing the main character, and when it cuts to him, he does this.
I think, oh, he's gonna pull out a gun, shoot me, so I dodge for cover.
Yeah,
Or
then he
I
pulls
quick
out a
draw.
phone. And he pulls out a phone, you know.
Oh my god.
What do I mean by this? It looks like he will do that, fine, but you don't really know. He could just be pulling a flower, you know. It's like, oh, what is, something's itching me. You know what I mean? Like, I know what he does. What he will do, I could be right or wrong. That's uncertain. That's the future. So he will pull out this gun. No, he pulls out this gun, or he reaches his hand inside a giant case. And then you describe what happens at the moment, leave the future for when it comes, which then will be the present. Right. I mean, again, this could be nitpicking, but I think that adds to the moment. Like, we are in the present. We just do the present. You know what I mean?
Dodge. Do you dodge? David?
Apologies. Yes, as soon as he sees the gun charging, knowing where.
A little thing. If you guys use cameras in the game to play your role-playing games with, you can see each other and you will know if he's paying attention or not. So you need to know if he dodges or not. But it's preferable if you turn the table and put the expectation on the player. If he doesn't say that he will dodge, then he doesn't dodge. He misses his opportunity to dodge. You know. You want to be fair. You give him a moment. You know. You give him his turn to state, like, you know, a jump. It's like, okay, he's doing a dodge. But
in your, again, I just want to mention, I don't want to take too much time. Like, we've been at it for a while, and I still want to see some of the game, but you're doing a lot of work, man. And, like, you're clicking on the, like, it was cool that, like, oh, he shuts the gun, and you like quickly click the thing to make the psh. Sounds cool, but you are hurting yourself here, man. If you keep that up for 5 hours straight, no wonder that you guys will be tired and will not be in character all the time. I'll tell you what, 2 hours of full role play, it feels like a 5-hour movie.
Yeah.
After the fact.
Yeah, role-playing is exhaustive enough. Adding all of these elements is gonna take away from my ability to focus on role-playing and imagine the scenes and thinking about how my
double the
character
quality.
react.
Exactly. And you have double the quality time for half of the actual time.
That's a 4D guarantee. Stamp.
He points it, he immediately attempts to dodge down as he succeeds with 7 additional.
Sick. Yep, that works. The gun goes wide, go ahead. Have your twice already been?
Yeah, I did it.
Now, I want to keep going, but let's keep track of how long it takes to do one full round with what looks to be 12 characters.
Are you in 1.25 speed?
Double checking. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Boyle. Mm-hmm.
You're muted in case you want to say something.
You muted, Boyle.
Sorry, clicking things is very difficult. I killed this person last session, correct? Like the bodyguard?
I think you did, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure.
A small detail. Is this superfluous? It has not much to do with roleplay. If you do a show online, keep do it like voice activation, so you always are picked up. Or instead of using push to talk, use push to mute. So you need to, I don't know, your mom comes in and she's saying, dinner's ready. You push down the button as you have the conversation to not distract the table and get this out of the way. And then when you're ready, you release the button. So that if you're talking to the other players, you don't have to push down the button all the time. That's also a thing that will remove me out of being in character, because I have to cut in and remember, oh right, I need to push the button when I talk.
Exactly. I don't know, maybe you want to watch a little bit more, but I think we should skip a little bit ahead and see some other scenes. I want to give him still the benefit because this is taking a long time, Knight. And very 10 minutes. And what happened in these 10 minutes? We had establishing shot, which is chronologically speaking no time, right? But we had establishing shot.
Yeah.
And then the guy came, the one guy had to get the tank from the other Ted. That happened in 10 minutes. That's the only thing, 10 minutes. And what you can have is having 10 minutes fuel, like 10 minutes of in-game time happened. Like a lot could have happened. In 10 minutes in a 40k game, cars could have exploded, heads could have popped, like blasters, like the las guns going on and off, chainsaw, swords. You're not using your full potential of your time here. In our games, 10 minutes, a lot happens in 10 minutes. And you want to keep it moving. Time needs to move forward. We should not be freezing or dilating time unless someone is casting a spell that does that. And even then, the narration times is still rolling. We're not freezing time.
Now we could skip like an hour ahead, and there appears to be like a car chase going. I can see, okay, he's using like a road to represent the distance of the different vehicles instead of, always laying down a new set of roads.
The critical effect on the bike, right?
No, on the APC.
Oh,
he shot the APC with the autocannon.
Wheeled vehicles go out of control. Okay, it will go out of control.
Damn, APC is that? Damn.
This might be bad. Let's see what out of control does. Out of control. You have to drive tactical speed forward 1d10 plus 1d10 meters, 45 degrees to the left or right, depending on what you roll. If you crash into something, you have to do a ram action into it. So let's do that. Let's first roll a d100. Below 50 is to the left. I roll less than 50.
We may be suffering from success here, some gentlemen.
It's gonna start to turn in exactly 45 degrees.
I swear if it goes left, right, and just keeps on the bridge.
That'll be awesome. Arbitrators are going to follow you to. You're going to hear a terrifying sound. A graviton gun.
Oh no!
Ooh, yeah.
Oh no.
Let's see here.
How the fuck does they have a graviton gun?
The local enforcement man on the capital planet.
Yeah. Yes, but even like space will really struggle to get that shit.
Yeah, well, they
Because they hate you. They're motivated by pure hatred.
I'm waiting for them to get vengeance on us.
He's going to shoot your van, and he's going to hit the motive systems. The wheels.
Wait, that just can't dodge it?
Yes, he can.
Maybe she can change it.
Oh, he succeeds.
I think we can talk about it.
What?
I think we can talk a little bit about what's going on here. I mean, it's some of the same points we've mentioned before, but I think it's worth just rebrushing them. And once again, like, you understand that there are different styles of play, but based on our interactions with you, Knight, we have the impression that you do enjoy the role play aspect of things. So we assume you're going to take this in good faith. We are certainly doing this in good faith.
Yes.
But again, you have a lot of out of character talk here in a situation that is like super high energy, tension, action-packed scene. But what we have is like explaining rules mid-game, trying to adjust VTT, to get the imagery correct. And then because that is happening, players are just they don't want to do something, so they start talking. At first, I thought they were talking in character, like, "Oh, how does he have a graviton gun?" And then I said, "Oh no, they're not talking in character; they're talking out of character." Though they could have done that in character, and that could be a cool moment, And then you didn't even need to interject with the joke, "Oh, they're doing that with sheer hatred alone." You don't need to do that. As a GM, and for some people this is harder, some could be easier, but there's a lot of not speaking that you should do. And it sounds counterintuitive, but the GM needs to learn when to not speak. You narrate the world, what's happening. You narrate the car tumbling and losing control. You narrate the explosions, the sounds even. But you unless you have an NPC, you should not be talking to the players or the characters as this disembodied voice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so weird because I can see there's clearly a lot of effort put into it, and it also looks like the players are enjoying this kind of game.
Yes.
Which I have to assume is they enjoy Warhammer, they enjoy like winning the battle game, the tactical combat. They enjoy the rolling of the dice. And there is also the inkling of like enjoying being in character. It's so I'm not even sure if if I can even change his mind that I don't think this approach works. If it's working for him,
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's something. If you want to roleplay, you don't need the visual tabletop, you don't need the sound effects, you don't need the battle map, you don't need the overcomplicated rule sets where you have to remember a 500-page book and their 7 subsystems. And if I'm honest, I'm not sure how many subsystems like are with Dark Heresy second rulebook. We used that one, but we stuck to one book. We didn't look at any supplements or like something like that. Just the one book was good enough for us to roleplay in that system. But if you're
I'm
deep
also
into
good.
the hobby, you expand your collection more and more, and you want to like add all of these different elements to like have more roleplay. A lot of those elements you can invent, or you can come up with a ruling, or you use the same dice system you already have from the base game, but you implement it for when you drive the car, or when you shoot a rocket launcher, or for everything you do. Most of the time, systems don't become complex, they become complicated. Right. Wanna watch more?
Nice. It's great we're like going over time, but I still want to give him more chance. I still want to see a moment where, because I'm sure they'll have moments of like roleplay happening, and I want to see if we can get there.
I'd
But it's
skip
a
ahead.
5-hour thing, so yeah, we have to.
It's definitely role-playing almost impossible while they do combat because of those reasons we just mentioned. It's all there, and it's all pretty obvious. We can go with this, or we can go with this. This looks promising. Like one place, one scene.
Okay.
Next to Nova's ear and hits the guy in the chest.
He falls lifeless to the ground.
Okay,
Brands
that's
will then
cool.
start moving room to room.
As you move up, you will see another one on the mezzanine above. He hides in a corner.
You will see.
And you can hear him. He's squeaking, kicking over crates. As you approach, he begins to maneuver, tries to get away, runs further back.
We are not
I'm
stuck in
alive.
initiative. I like this.
You'll hear another deafening bang.
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah, you kill him. If that's what you're... Yeah. He just immediately gives in. Wherever you shoot him, pretty much. They're just triggers.
Okay, and you'll hear Franz coming with a microbead saying, anyone in the vicinity, kill them.
Boyle will shrug and kind of looking inside to where all the bang is happening with the bolter, he will shudder a bit, pull out his grapple in line, and then will grapple up to the top lookout area.
It is still intact, and you can still see across the street. You just hear a bunch of drug addicts smashing bottles, yelling, toppling over.
Perfect. Boyle's going to go ahead and just take a couple, switching back to like his regular.
How long is this? 1 hour in?
1
I
hour,
get
40
like
minutes
that you get hungry, but like don't I can hear you chewing, man.
Oh really? Sorry,
I'm
man.
no, I'm not you. I'm talking about
I'm
him.
not. Oh, I'm okay. Yeah, I was confused. I'm like messing around with my beard, so maybe the microphone picked it up or something.
No. That could be nitpicking, but and again, maybe shorter games you can like eat after. I wouldn't say you're probably eating something small, which I think it's fair, like a little peanut or something like you can like nibble on. But you don't want to have like a full like burger, like as you're playing. That's a bit distracting. A little bit of nitpicking on my part.
It's I mean, absolutely. This is a social contract problem, right? It's not a game problem. You establish, are we eating at the table or not? Because we plan to play for 6 hours, and I'm gonna get hungry at some point. So you can do a break in the middle of it. Like, okay, we are ordering pizza at hour 2, and when the pizza arrives, that's when we have the 30-minute break. Let's just eat. And after that, we continue the game. Or you can say, you can eat, but you have to turn off the camera when you do and mute yourself. And you do not, what's the word? Destroy the verisimilitude of the play of the game we're doing right now. But if you accept this, you are like lowering the chances to stay immersed in the game because you're out there, you're eating something that's gonna distract you as well.
setting and regular charge back rather than the hot shot. He's just going to take some pot shots at some druggies, just kill the ones that look like to be especially violent.
Yep. All good. You kill the closest ones, you have a silencer. No one's gonna hear.
Perfect.
You'll hear Franz come across the microbeat again saying, salvage anything we can, this is gone. Kill anyone else. As I said beforehand, no survivors, no information gets out. Destroy anything else. If we can't take it, it's burnt.
It smells like ashes and piss. You look around and there's like a little musk of smoke on the ground. They have just pummeled every piece of fabric in the building. The old...
You look around and you see it's I think it's totally fair. The way the player described it assumed that he's looking around. So just describe tough the smoke at the location it is, and the player can see if he's seen it, or if he's ignoring it, like, oh, my head is down in the PDA. Not spotting the tough to smoke.
And again, man, wait, I assume you were Martin. I could have Knight. We have his name there. It's Martin, right?
The GM says Morton next to it, so
yeah, I'll call you Martin from now on. Knight. Right. You have an incredible voice, man.
Yeah.
And all your players too, to be honest, like I think they have really good, like, nice to listen to voices. And when they talk in character, when they are in character, it's really like me as a viewer, like I get engaged. Like I'm like, oh, this is nice. If you guys like start drop this like out of character talk, the VTT, and you focus on roleplay, like you have something big on your hands, like because you have production value already. Maybe you can even edit the videos later and then add some visuals, like to make it like YouTube thing. I'd be a viewer, man. I'd be a sub. I'm just saying, like you have the makings to like have it be like movie like, radio novella. You have potential.
There's so much.
But then again, maybe.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Finish your thought.
So I was going to say that maybe like you said before, like he enjoys the more lighthearted social aspect of the game, which is 100% fine too. Like you're not playing the wrong way if that's what you want to achieve. But if you want to achieve roleplay, then I would say then you are playing the wrong way, because you could have it more. You could have a 90, 85, maybe even 95% of roleplay in your game.
Yes.
That's what I want to say.
And that's something that we noticed. We played a Warhammer one-shot, so we literally talked about the rules for 20 minutes before playing the game, and then played the game. And if there were any questions, it wasn't a problem. We just gotta ignore it. Like, we skipped dodging for, like, 3 combat rounds or something. We didn't even think about dodge being a thing inside as part of the rule set. But it didn't matter. Like, if we died from that, we would have been okay with it, because we were so incredibly immersed in the game itself, role-playing. But I can accept some players, they feel betrayed, like, oh, but now we didn't play the Dark Heresy by the rules. And I'm always thinking, like, which would I rather sacrifice? The rules or the roleplay? And my priorities lean towards I'm keeping roleplay alive as long as possible. For, like, as much time span that I spend sitting down to play a 5-hour game with you, I want to roleplay. And I want you guys to roleplay with me, like, have those amazing scenes back and forth. Which they have, like we've seen this in the last 2 minutes. He shoots with a bolt gun. There's absolutely no reason to look into the rules if a bolt gun is gonna eviscerate a human. He just explodes.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's eviscerated. No need to roll anything. And that is a great adjudication to keep the roleplay alive in that moment. I wish to see more of that and less of let's keep track of 15 tokens.
Out of character talk and jokes, exclamations.
Exactly.
But then again, just reinforcing like a really cool production value, like a lot of like Zonar said, we can see that you put a lot of work in it, and it pays off. Like as far as it goes on a technical level of playing the game, this is amazing. Like what you're doing here is magic for me, like moving the VTT, and you clearly know the rules as well. So on that, good job, man.
I respect the hustle for sure.
Yeah, but would still prefer to have more juice, more roleplay juice. But then again, we did watch 30 minutes of a 5 hours game.
Yeah.
But yeah, most games that we watch or that we play, if you skim through the thing, every time you click on a part that is not after the game is over, something is happening in character, something is happening. And that's a good way to measure like how much do you have happening at your game. We would love that if you like get in contact with us again. Maybe you disagree with a lot with what we said, and that's fine. But we'd like to continue like this civil discussion or uncivil. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess I don't have a link on my channel, but I can drop a link in the description. I saw like he showed up at the very start in the channel in chats and left at some point. So I'm gonna tag his channel in the description, which will alert him that we looked at this game. So you can find the link to the RPG Crusade Discord in the description and join and have a chat. Whenever we have
Once
time.
again. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's like when we have time, it's a great place to talk about role playing and how to role play.
And we want to foster discussion. This is not like a seminar. We're teaching you, we're lecturing you. Like if you think that something we said you disagree for any reason, like let's talk about that. Let's have a conversation because we all come out learning something out of it.
Yeah.
That's what makes us different from the other channels. We're not here to teach you. We're here to have a conversation.
It's
we're
a
not selling you
moment
supplements.
when Bilbo holds onto his ring too tightly. It's mine. It's like, Bilbo Baggins, I'm not here to rob you. I'm here to help you.
Yeah. So thanks for reaching out, man, in first place.
Yeah. I think
I'm stoked whenever that happens.
This was very, very illuminating. It showed a different style of play. Do we even want to bring up the 1D, 2D thing, or maybe we should?
Because we talked about 3D and 4D, right? So we measure the level of roleplay and engagement in 1D to 4D. That being that 1D is just being around. It's the ultimate social aspect of being with your friends. You're engaging with the game on the minimum level possible. That's the person who shows up. He never knows what he's doing, what's happening, but he's always there to make a joke or start talking about something that happened the other week.
Yes.
He
does not understand. He does not understand the rules. Like, he doesn't read up on them. When it's his turn, he asks, what can I do? Can I attack him? Where am I? How many enemies are in the room? Those are all 1D questions.
Then you have 2D, which is the player is engaging with the game as a game. He is there. He cares enough to learn the rules, at least for his character. He's playing the game.
Yes.
But he will be out of character. He may every now and then stop to make a joke, but he's mostly in character. He's engaging with the group and the game. Would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, that's the guy at the table that says, I use my command ability to buff the group. I give a speech. Maybe he says that part too. Then he rolls the dice and says, all right, you guys get the plus 30 bonus to a roll in the next minute. So he's engaging with the rules and communicating it, but he's not interested, or maybe he's too flustered to roleplay part of it out.
And then you have the biggest jump, what they call 3D, which is you are in character, you do not engage with the game with metagaming, you do not ask the GM questions. You are your character and you react to the world accordingly, trying to think and act as the character would. If you have a question, you ask the character, well, you don't even ask, you act in order to prompt the world for an answer. I want to know if the water bottle is empty, or the pouch thing, I forgot the name, the wineskin.
Yeah.
You shake it, you feel the weight. And then it jumps, it feels heavy or feels full. There you go. You got your question answered, right?
Yeah. And there is a lot of 3D roleplay elements in your game. Like, we can see it happening here and there. And it's the distance between when roleplay happens. Especially, we started watching the combat stuff, which did take hours, which is based on the rules you've chosen to play and how to play with the rule set. So, okay, there's like 3D elements at the end. You're walking down across the catwalk. I shoot the guy with my bolt gun. That's role-playing. Describing things. Talking in character. It's not like, I shoot the guy with the bolt gun. Yeah, that's still minimalistic. But you don't have to describe everything like with beautiful language. That's like with some flowery language. What's important is that we all can imagine what the character is doing and feel immersed, like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Exactly. And then we go into 4D, which is 3D with the addition of you have enough trust in your group where players can just co-create. Maybe you did not even mention a catwalk, but the player kind of got the idea and mentions a catwalk into the scene, and because it's a warehouse, well, yeah, there would be one, so we roll with it. And like we mentioned before, maybe it's a really crucial point that there's no catwalk. If that's the case, you can still bend it and adjust, or mention that the catwalk crumbles on the first step. It's so old, it's so rotten that not rotten, right? Oxidized, that it breaks down. You can still like stir it towards what the goal of the whatever is going to happen based on what the world should be like. You still have the power, but for this jump of trust to co-create, the player can pull something out of his pocket.
In this case,
of
you
course,
might say, like with the catwalk example, a similar one could be a look around and say, and a yell over, hey, Server Skull, come over here. It's like trying to grab it as a Server Skull, like hovers nearby me. You make for snatch, because you can assume that Server Skulls are core elements of Warhammer 40k. They are everywhere. You can probably just 4D one into the scene, unless what the DM has described is, oh yeah, this like city district is like completely absent of Server Skulls. They just don't work around here. As a game master, I'm not gonna bat an eye and say, well, you can't just invent the Server Skull and use it for. It's like, no, it's fine. It's part of the universe. All right. I'm happy with that. I think we can
Mhm.
end the stream here. Let's do any last mentions and anything we wanna give with him aside from what we already mentioned. It's a different way of playing. It's a different taste, but this like so you can roleplay much more in a role-playing game, but then you spend less time in the nitty-gritty part of playing the game and using all of the rules and setting up the tabletop and the virtual tabletop with the battlefield and the grids and the tokens and the soundboard, which that has to be exhausting.
Exactly. I would compare it to, imagine that you want to play some video game, but then you have to build a video game. Then you have to program the video game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can just, it's like a Super Nintendo game. You just plop that cartridge in, press start, and you're there.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have more game with less game, if that makes sense. We are very passionate about that, so we talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
But once again, man, thank you for reaching out in the first place. It's a really good part of that.
Absolutely. Have fun with your games. And yeah, if people want to know more, you can check out Nicholas has a channel where he talks about role-playing games in Portuguese. Since
There's a little bit of English too.
Oh yeah.
I'm very bad at the YouTube game, but you can find both there. At Etera RPG.
There will be a link in the description. And I talk about role-playing games, and sometimes I'm streaming some games in the live section. So you will see a bit of both. But yeah, the main focus is talking about role-playing and my journey with 4D roleplay. And I do have a playlist of every game I've played is in a playlist, so you can just watch all the examples of me doing 4D roleplay, and another one with every podcast or talk show that I was on talking about roleplaying or videos I've made. Yeah, check out the video section, check out the live section. And there you go. And there will be a link to the Discord. Gonna remember this one. I'll have a break afterwards and do it as soon as possible. Alright. Thank you for cleaning up the streets against all the crimes committed to roleplay, Nicholas.
It's a thankless job, but a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
Somebody's gotta do it. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.